I was in Vegas one time and I put $20 on one of those wheels.
Yeah.
Or no, I put $1 on the 20 and they spun it and it hit and I won 20. And I was like, fuck, I should have put 20 and won 400. And I'm like, that's how that's why guys lose their house. It's that.
That feeling.
I mean, there's a great story. Like, I don't know if it was Norm or Artie, but like, apparently they did the gig in Vegas and there was like the most money they'd ever made on a gig. And on the flight home, they were down 10 grand.
Yeah, of course.
They spent the whole, I don't know if it was 100 grand, I don't know if it was $1 million. I don't know like what these guys were making, but like somehow they managed to lose the money.
Yeah, I used to get texts and calls from Vos all the time. Because Vos is a very bad gambler. And he would call from Vegas. He'd be there for a day or two and he would have blown through his money and he would need people to send him money.
I think that they booked acts like that on purpose.
I think this is how smart Dice is. I toured with Dice for 3 years. I love Dice. And he was the first comic to work the Venetian in Vegas.
Yeah.
So I remember we went to the Venetian before, it was just opening. They'd never done comedy, and he went and gambled. And he had a duffel bag full of money. And I think he dropped $250,000 in cash at the Venetian.
Wow.
And after that, he got a 2-year deal to perform in the Venetian because they're like, oh, this guy.
He's going to spend.
He's going to perform for free.
And I always wondered, did Andrew do that on purpose? Like, he was a smart guy and he had worked every casino. So if they think that you're a high roller and you gamble, they're much more likely to give you a contract.
So they book him 4 times a year. He never gambles again, and then he just cleans up.
Oh, no, he did.
They were right then. That is clever. You drop $100K once and you get booked for 4 shows.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always thought that might have been a strategy because he went in there and he thought I was bad luck. He thought I was a mush. And he was probably right. So he made me leave the casino. I was so upset. Yeah, he was like, tell Norton he's got to go. So I had to walk into another casino because he was fucking down like 120,000.
I mean, what are you going to do in Vegas? You know what I mean? You of all people.
I know. There was one escort I used to see every time I went out there. I would go out at night early before the shows, and I would always see this one girl. I forget her name. And there was one woman who would dress like a nurse and come over.
Did you ask for this?
No, she just did. Like her picture, she had like a little nurse's hat on.
Yeah.
And she would come over and piss on me. That was a great trip, man.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to FLAGRANT. Today we're joined by comedy legend Jim Norton. So the sexual addiction, first of all, I'm looking back into so many of your stuff and like there's just these amazing stories because you've been talking on air for like decades. Yeah. So there's a lot. But the one that Sam Roberts hits me up with, he goes, you got to ask him about when he had a pregnant prostitute in his grandma's basement.
That was, so some we look back on and we're not proud of them. That was, I had just gotten sober and my buddy and I went down to New Brunswick and picked up a pregnant prostitute because I would get them often. And my grandmother used to live in the basement of my parents' house, but then she had a heart attack and she died, but the bed was still there. So I would bring... Just sometimes when you say these things, you're like, wow, that's really not a good time in life. But we had our little living room down there and her book on Kennedy. And we brought back a pregnant prostitute and she sparked up a crack pipe. And my parents were asleep upstairs. And I think I had just gotten blown or my buddy had just gotten blown. And then I just smelled, I don't know if you ever smelled crack, but it's a very distinctive smell. It's like a medicinal smell almost. And she was standing there about 8 months pregnant, smoking a crack pipe in my dead grandmother's basement while I kind of was like, wow, you're supposed to be a sober guy.
This is you just getting sober?
Just getting sober. And I was worried my parents were going to smell the crack coming up into their bedroom. So that was kind of a story I wish I didn't have to remember.
What would be the type of escort you got when you weren't sober?
I didn't do it when I was drinking. I
got sober at 18,
18, right?
Yeah.
So I started getting going down to New Brunswick when I was about 18 or 19 when I first started driving. I never did it before that. I would just drive down Commercial Avenue, Remsen Avenue, George Street, kind of where the Stress Factory is. And I would loop and loop and loop for hours.
And find like streetwalkers?
Yeah, always streetwalkers.
And how old are you when you start with the streetwalker?
About 18 or 19.
And what happens at 18 where you're like, I think I'm going to fuck prostitutes?
I don't, you strike out enough times and then you just remember, I would see that girl when I would drive by. And it's literally, I don't know what a religious experience feels like, but the first time somebody gets in your car and sucks your dick, and leaves. You're like, wow, I'm home. I am home. It just felt like it was the addiction, just kind of like, it was like a dopamine shot. It was like...
Same feeling from drugs?
Yeah, exactly. Same feeling.
Okay,
that
so you're
rush.
freshly sober. Now you get this like rush.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like it's going to be too detrimental.
Right, because you don't know where it's going to go or how much money you're going to eventually spend or how much energy you're eventually going to put into it.
What were you spending?
You know, back then, not much. I mean, it was 20 or 30 bucks. But as life goes on and you start doing better, you spend a lot of money. I remember when Charlie Sheen said he spent $50,000 in a year, and the whole country was shocked. And years later, I was like, what's the big deal? Come on.
What do you think the most you spent is?
The most I ever spent with one person was $1,000. I never went crazy with like the high priced, it was volume. I was a volume shopper. You know, it was
Bogos.
Yeah, a lot. 4 or 5 nights a week, sometimes
really?
once a day, sometimes twice a day. Yeah, it was really bad. It was just obsession.
Did you ever have to deal with pimps?
No, not really. I was very paranoid. Like I was very careful when I would ride around. It was like a ritual. It was literally like I would ride around. I would only pick up a hooker if she came to the left side of my car. Like it was bizarre how I would ritualize the whole thing. So sometimes I'd ride around for 5 hours and not get anybody. And I would just piss into a cup and keep dumping it out the window. That was my life.
That's so funny. You're like, I don't do gambling, but I will find streetwalkers.
100%. Yeah, I did that for years. But it was also like my favorite part of it when I look back. I remember I used to love talking to them on the way back. Like I used to enjoy the conversations after. It was almost like I was lonely and I didn't know how to talk to girls. And then after we had like sex, I would chat with them. And I always loved hanging with them afterwards and having a conversation with them. Yeah. That was, I realized like that was kind of my favorite part of it.
But was it like the talks like, oh, you don't have to do this, I can get you out of this? Like,
Were you trying to save him?
Yeah, you do go through that that where I'm going to rescue you and show you what a real relationship, which I wasn't. But I had a girl say that to me. She's like, you're a nice looking guy. Why are you doing this? You don't have to do this. And it really affected me. I was probably 20 when she said that. And I still look back and go like, that was a really impactful moment. Didn't slow me down at all, but it made me think.
Did you ever date any of them? Like, did it ever become like a relationship?
There was some that I would see after. There was one dominatrix who I saw for a year who became a long-term girlfriend. Yeah, I would fall in love quick. I never looked at sex workers like they were less than. I looked at them like, wow, she's actually spending time with me. And I loved them. I thought they were amazing. Yeah.
So Sam said that, he said that you love the chat, like you love the dirty talk. Like Sam was like...
With him.
Can you explain who Sam is for people that
Oh, yeah, Sam Roberts. Absolute legends. You guys probably know him from WWE. You know him from the Jim and Sam show. You know him from Opie and Anthony. I think he was interning back then.
Yeah, he would just send me voice notes about wrestling and I would jerk off.
But he said that like he would see you, it could be 7 a.m, you guys are on the radio, but like once you're engaged in the chat.
Yeah.
Now, he also told me there was a story where you were driving somewhere with him.
Oh, God, yeah. My road manager wasn't available, so Sam came to help me sell merchandise. And I think as we were driving back, I think I was voice texting, if I remember correctly, with this one girl who once you lock in, man, it's kind of hard because they're talking and I can never tell someone like, all right, I'll get back to you. I'm all lathered up, but I think he was in the passenger seat.
Sam's in the passenger seat and just ripping and saying dirty talk, voice note.
Yeah, I'm sending dirty voice notes, but it felt like I was so comfortable with him, I didn't care. Like, I mean, I knew the guy for years. I'm like, sorry, this is the negative side of being friends with Jim Norton. Is once in a while you're gonna have to hear how big is your clip while I'm driving, doing 80 miles an hour down Route 78.
Dude, that was a joke I remember from your special. What was it? Monster? Was it Monster?
Maybe even Monster Rain.
Monster Rain, I like a big pussy. Looking like a basset hound. Was it a...
Oh, a basset hound might have been Monster Rain. Poorly packed luggage was one of the later ones. Yeah, you can see through snow pants. Yeah, there was a lot of naughty references to large vaginas.
When you were doing this, were you ever ashamed to tell your friends? Like, was there a period of like hiding, or were you always open?
Certain things I was quiet about for a long time, but like early on in stand-up, like in 91, 92, when I was still doing open mics. And guys like Florentine, who got me my first paid gig, and Bobby Levy, they would come and they would always, like, we would all be on the same show, and they would laugh at the stuff that was honest and that was about my life. And I kind of realized, like, wow, if the comedians think this is funny, you should talk about this. And it felt original and it was mine, so I didn't have to memorize it. I just knew it.
So you were talking about this shit early on, open mics.
Yeah, like you know, again in New Jersey when we would do this hotel had an open mic. It's funny. It's where I first met Ari Spears. He was a kid. His mom would bring him to open mics. He was underage at the time. He's been at it a long time, man. And he was funny. You could see he was doing RoboCop, and you're like, this fucking kid is great. But this is probably 91 or 92. So yeah, I started talking about all this. But you limit your options when you're talking about that stuff.
What do you mean?
Like
certain guys don't want you to open for them because they're dirty.
Yeah, and you know, you understand you're not going to have necessarily a TV route. You know what I mean? Like there's no way to make Big Clit Tonight Show clean. You know, how do I say that in like euphemisms where I can get that through on TV? So you realize early on my path is not going to be that.
And then what about like friends and family?
My parents didn't see me for 7 years. I didn't let them come because I never wanted. I saw. You ever see the movie Fame? It was like from 1980.
David Bowie movie or something like that?
No.
What am I thinking about?
Irene Cara was in this one. But there's a comedian named Ralph Garcia, and he performs, and he kills in front of his friends, and then he bombs when he's drunk and alone in front of an audience with no friends.
Yeah.
And I always remember that. I'm like, never have your friends there because you're going to get a fake reaction.
Dude, so I was like terrified of having my friends there.
Oh my goodness.
It's embarrassing, certain things.
I never understood these guys that are like,
They want to bring their friends.
I walk into an open mic, there's 40 people. I'm like, why are there so many people here? And they're like, oh, so-and-so is doing his first open mic. I'm like, what?
Never, dude.
He brought
never.
40 people to see him bomb
To
for
this
5 minutes?
day, if I see someone I know in like the front row or something like that, like if I could, I would just remove them and put them in another part of it.
Dude,
It's crazy.
I would rather have fucking Oswald in the front row than my friends. I hate seeing a recognizable face. My parents come, always in the back.
Yeah.
I don't want to see. I want just a blackout light, and they're in the back, and I don't see them. I don't want to see. My buddy Sean came with his family one time to Caroline's, and they don't know. The people just sat them, and it was right up
it's
front.
brutal.
My buddy and his family.
It's brutal.
I was just, it's humiliating because I know what I talk about. That's why I don't want your parents there when you're talking about the shit I'm talking about.
What do they say after the show?
Oh, you were wonderful. My parents are great. Like, they were just so happy I stopped drinking and fucking,
Oh, so they were supportive and everything?
100% with everything in my life.
So where is this like, because all of your childhood stories are kind of insane. Are you aware of how your childhood stories are insane, or did you think it was normal because that's what everybody was doing in the neighborhood?
To me, they feel very, very run-of-the-mill and very uneventful.
Even when you would talk about them and get these big reactions?
The reactions I would get from people told me, like, wow, I guess everybody didn't have this childhood. But I mean, it was all me. Like, my parents did the best they could. But, we were in Edison. It was it was in the 70s. It was a different time.
Yeah.
You weren't supposed to be monitored all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you and your friends snuck off and did whatever you did, or it was what it was.
Just throw a couch on the highway or whatever.
Oh, that's when I was a teenager. Yeah. This bodybuilder I knew used to come by, and me and his 13-year-old brother would hang out, and we would just do destructive things like we tried to set the couch on fire and push it onto the highway. We were hoping a car would hit it. We were very bad people. We were very bad people, Stanley.
But you did push it in, right?
Oh, yeah, that went onto the highway.
And it just didn't end up hitting a car. But like someone could have died and horrible things could have happened.
Yeah. But I was 13 at the time. I mean, you didn't care.
What about the story with the ice cream on the furry seat?
Same people. Yeah, we would ride around. We used to take motor oil and put it in these margarine dishes, and we would find people's open car windows and throw motor oil on their dashboards. It was just piece of shit. Like, it really was. It was like I was the living embodiment of Reddit when I was 13 years old. I was a living message board. That's what it was. That was our idea of trolling. Yeah. And one time we found ice cream, a big thing of melted chocolate ice cream, and we put it all over this seat. And this guy had like this fur back, the fur seat cushions. Yeah. And we came back like 5 minutes later, and we saw this like 80-year-old woman wiping chocolate off her husband's back.
So he just sat on it.
He sat right in it, and she was just wiping chocolate off this old man's back. and it was victory. I felt because it was harmless. It didn't hurt them.
Yeah.
I mean, now I look back and I'm like, kind of like, oh, that was not nice to do. But when you're 13, I mean,
No,
that's
it's a great prank.
fucking, come on. People are shooting up schools now. All we did was throw chocolate on an old man's back. Everything. I mean, come on. That was fucking innocent.
Did you always know that you were like, another funny thing about you that I've always appreciated is like how inclined you are to cheat and how you haven't gotten better at it.
Cheating with women? Yeah.
Like as long as I've known you, you've gotten caught cheating.
I have, yeah. And I've also gotten away with it a lot. And the reason I don't...
Until...
with my wife, I've been really surprisingly good. I mean, what am I going to say?
Hold on. You've been good at not cheating.
And not cheating.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I learn what to do. I fucking... no, I haven't. But it was because but when I met her, I was kind of at the end of my run. It doesn't mean it's easy or that I'm not still a fucking pervert at heart.
Yeah.
But it was like one of these things where I had done it for so many years so recklessly. And I got busted by a couple of different girls who I really liked. And I hurt people and I ended relationships. And I'm like, you got to fucking stop.
Guys, here's all of our dates in 30 seconds. June 5th and 6th, I'm going to be in Virginia Beach. And then August 8th, I'm going to be in Halifax, Nova Scotia with SNL's Cam Patterson, Lucas Zelnick, and Mark Gagnon. TheInterestshows.com for those. And then also we have the Life Paddle Classic Charity Tournament, June 4th. Shout out Neurogum for doing this with us. All the proceeds go to Baby Quest, which is the IVF charity that my wife and I work with, many other people work with, and just helping people start families. A very expensive process, so it's alleviating that pressure for them. And Neurogum has the Dad Bundle, the Andrew Schulz Dad Bundle that they're selling right now on their website. And if you buy that, or you just want to donate, you don't have to just buy that, but the proceeds will be going to Baby Quest so you can help support. Also, come out to the tournament. It'd be absolutely great. You can sign up, you can play, and we're just going to raise a bunch of money for people trying to start families, playing the most fun sport that there is. Awesome. I hope to see you guys there June 4th. Paddle House in Dumbo, New York. Love you guys. Mark, what you got?
Great news, everybody. I'm going to many, many cities at the end of the year. I'm going to Plano, Texas, Chandler, Arizona, Pasadena, California, San Diego, Detroit, Michigan, and Salt Lake City, Utah. It'll be a wonderful time, and I can't wait to see you guys all there. Alex.
And I'm doing a lot of stuff in New York this summer. We have Canceled Comedy. We have another Canceled Comedy show. That is June 24th. Head over to cancelcomedyx.com. And then I have another one of my tennis series that is on July 25th. And you can get that at theallloveclub.com. See you guys there. Peace.
You tell the story about when the dirty text got printed.
Oh, my God. That was, and she's one of my best friends today. That was my girlfriend at the time, who was great. She was fucking dirty. She would do anything, but it didn't matter. It's like when you're in addiction, it's not about, you know what I mean? Like when you're a compulsive overeater, you have a steak. It doesn't mean that you're not going to go home and fucking pig out on junk food. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So I was dirty texting with this woman, and it was really fucking good. And I saved it, and I saved it to my hard drive because I was going to jerk off reading it later. Because that's the best part of Intrigue. It's the going back, the euphoric recall. I had a 12-step sponsor teach me that term, euphoric recall. I'm like, fuck it, that's exactly what it is. Fucking tweedling my nipple. And when she said that.
He's going to recall to the AA guy.
Dude, it was such a good dirty talk session. And it was a Saturday morning, and I was doing radio 5 days a week. So it was like Saturday mornings I slept in, and I just, I heard, Jim, get up. And I opened my eyes, and my girlfriend was standing in the bedroom doorway. And I just knew something was like bad. Something bad had been discovered because she never would have woken me on a Saturday morning knowing that that was my weekend. And her tone of voice, I just knew I was fucking in trouble. She goes, get up. And I'm like, what? And she goes, I read your fucking conversation. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, I didn't do nothing. And then she mentioned the girls, like the screen name or whatever. What might have been like an AIM chat, I don't know, whatever it was. But she mentioned something that I knew she had read it. And I'm like, She goes, you printed it. I had sent it to my printer by mistake. I meant to save it to a hard drive, but I had printed 7 fucking pages of filthy text. And it went, and the reason she found it is because she was taking a college course and had printed out a paper to hand in to her professor and fucking got it out of the thing. And she goes, thank God I looked through it before, because it was her paper and me going, can I smell it if you put it on my nose?
No.
Oh my God. It's one of the, and I firmly believe that if she had handed that in, that she would have stabbed me in my sleep. Like because she had a temper and she was very, let's say, volatile at times. And if she had also, and she also, there was an email address I had, which is gone. I deleted it that day. But I just realized, like, wow, man, she almost got the mother load. And there was more. That would,
What is the mother load? What's in there?
it was nothing. It was literally stuff. It was just a volume of dirty talking and perverted pictures. Just people sending me shit. Like, you know what I mean? It was more intrigue than anything else.
What is the dirty talk like? Like, what are you trying to get into? And is there a moment where you cross like the threshold of normalcy where you're like seeing how they're going to respond?
It has to be something she's into talking about. It doesn't turn me on at all if it's me making her. Like that doesn't, like, hey, pretend you're this.
Now you're doing improv. Which sucks for everyone.
Improv is never fun, especially when you're fucking trying to get off. I need organic. Because somebody's real perversion, I think, is very sexy. It's like, I love that. There's a weird connection with somebody when you're being dirty and they're being dirty and they're like showing you things that people who have known them for a decade don't even know. Yeah. It's
so even if you're not into the things they're talking about, you just like the fact that they're into
some things, yeah. Okay. Certain things I probably wouldn't term, like, you know what I mean? Like there's certain things I might not like doing, but I would never judge somebody. Like I'm okay with you talking about anything you want, even though certain things wouldn't probably turn me on, but I would never shame somebody or scold them for being that way.
You better not.
No, I'm in no position. But like, you know, the word sniff became like a great intrigue word. Like if a girl says she's gonna put her ass on my face, I'd go, all right, and she'd go, and you're gonna sniff it. I would go, oh, I'm on to something here. This is a fucking, she's locked in. She gets, you know what I mean? She understands these weird trigger words.
As you got famous, did girls start like knowing that that's what you're into and start kind of curating their identity around that?
I don't know, like, because a lot of times you don't know them when they're coming in, like, so you don't know who they are before they show up. So I don't know what their real mentality was before.
Right.
But you know how it is, like when you're known, like especially with radio, because it was 25 hours a week. It was, you know, people really know your life.
And this is the heyday of radio. That's another thing that we got to understand. So like the show Opie and Anthony, and I want to get into that a little bit too, but just like radio is as big as it possibly can be. And this show was massive and also like a cult following.
Yeah.
And also kind of like a rebellion against traditional radio.
And also massive in New York City.
And like Jersey, Philly, like
you're
tri-state
walking around
area.
the city and people see you like you are existing within the space where it's being consumed.
Boston, yeah, it was regular radio for a while. I was on regular, like, terrestrial radio for a couple of years.
This is with CBS?
This was CBS. It was originally Infinity Broadcasting, I think, but then it became CBS kind of bought it, and Viacom bought the whole thing, and we eventually got fired. But when we came back on satellite in 2004. You know, you're talking we had like literally 4-hour show at first, and there was no commercials at that point. So we would play Carlin bits just so we could stop talking.
Wow.
But your first break was an hour and a half. So on slow news days, personal shit comes out because you have, you know, August was a rough month. Oh man, because everyone's on vacation, not much is happening. And you know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's August 11th. And you're like, yeah, what's going on?
Read the text, Jim.
I mean, my friends would jerk off together when I was 7. You know, you just start spitting stuff out because you have to fill 4 and at some points 5 hours. So,
Right.
people get to know you, they become very invested in you, and in a good way and a bad way.
So then these girls who are like maybe a little freaky are like, okay, I got my guy who I can kind of really open up to and kind of explore this side of me.
Yeah, I think so.
Have you met a woman with your level of freakiness?
Oh yeah, I met way dirtier than I. Of course, yeah. Women are the same as we. They're not allowed to let it all hang out because the line would be out the door. So they have to be more selective as to who they show. Like if you're a guy and you're like, I'm a fucking pig, so what? But if you're a woman and you're like, I'm into fucking spanking and dirty, like, there'd be too many, you'll be overrun with people willing to engage.
Oh, that's interesting. So they hide it, but then when they meet someone that maybe they're a little more open with,
and
they can reciprocate.
I think so, yeah. They think they know they're not going to be judged. I always thought women knew I was never going to judge them either. Like, whatever you're going to say to me, I'm never going to think that you're a fucking piece of shit or you're less. At least I hope that's what it was.
Was there anything that they said, dude? Was there a girl that went to a point where you felt uncomfortable?
Not really, no, because it was all talk. Like, you know what I mean? It was...
Can I pitch you a list of paraphilias and then you tell me if you have any experience?
What is paraphilia?
A paraphilia would be just like some type of different erotic fixation.
Sure, okay.
So like, for example, acrotomophilia, that's people with amputations.
Not my thing. I heard a cop one time reference it. He called them stump fuckers. Guys who are into that fetish.
Wait, have you done it?
No, not my thing.
What about a wheelchair?
I never had, but I don't think I would be inclined not to. I don't know. To be real honest with you, I've never encountered that.
Yeah.
But if I had been, it would depend on what our conversations had been up till then.
Just throwing them legs around.
Yeah, I don't know if I would like that or not, though. You know what I mean? If if you got fucking puppet legs, I got to throw one
like a windshield wiper.
I don't know. I've never encountered that, but I never talked about it either, so I can't. I don't know.
What about podophilia? That would be a foot fetish.
Oh, yeah. Foot fetish stuff, I got into at one point. It's almost like you start to, it's like you run out of things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how much ass worship can I do? And the answer is a lot. A whole bunch. But then you start getting into other things, and someone says the right trigger word, and all of a sudden, it becomes a thing. It's very weird,
you love
right?
the talking,
the talking I love.
So if a woman just comes and wants to get straight into the sex, like, do you like that, or you need the build up?
I need the build up.
You need the build up.
I envy people who are tactile and just like what's in front of them, what they feel is what they like.
Yeah.
Like, those guys that can just climb on a woman and put their face in her neck and go, just pump away. I envy that. What an easy life you have. To you, my friend. I've never been able to do that. Tweedle these. What if you were getting fucked and he was better than me? Like, it's just psychotic.
So it's all mental for you.
Well, almost all mental, yeah. The physical feels good, but it's almost all
What about
mental?
Sclerophilia. That's the soiling of pants, like peeing pants.
Peeing pants could be. I wouldn't want somebody shitting their pants. That'd be a bit much. That'd be a rough go. Somebody, that's a rough haul. Somebody pulls down their pants and they're like, and it's filled with pudding. They're like, all right.
But you like the pee stuff?
Yeah.
What is exciting about the pee?
You sound like me in the mirror. with a pistol under my shin.
Who are we?
What happened to you, Jim? I don't know. That's a great question, Andrew. I first experienced it as a kid. I don't know. And I've told this story before, but like there was this bully. I used to blow this kid. He was a bully. I was probably...
Wait, what? We need more context, Jim. You gotta go back a little.
This was in Edison, New Jersey. Yeah. And I have a time frame because of when I was... we moved from Edison to North Brunswick. My first day of school in North Brunswick was Halloween of 4th grade. So I know that anything in Edison that happened was before Halloween in 4th grade. Mm-hmm. So this bully I used to have oral sex with, and
what happened first?
Yeah, what?
I don't remember how it started.
Yeah,
but I would blow him in the hallway in the apartment building. I was probably I was young. It was like 1st grade. But he was he was like a year older than me. It wasn't like he was 51. He was my age.
Yeah.
Wait, so were you gay back then?
I mean,
or
no.
Now? I don't...
At that age. I mean, I certainly would have a hard time selling straight in court.
Your Honor, he was my bully. It was self-defense.
The evidence is overwhelming.
It's a crime of passion.
That'd be a rough one to get across, but. No, but that was again. It was. I definitely liked it though. Like, you know what I mean. I enjoyed doing it. Like, so my therapist told me I was molested, but I don't see it. Like, I felt like I showed up for it. You know what I mean? I enjoyed it. I was
arguing with your therapist.
It's also funny. It's also funny that like he bullied you, but that wasn't the bullying. Like, I like that part.
Yeah, that was the bonding after the beat up. After the beat up, that was the apology. No, he would. But I was terrified of this kid. I remember being really scared of him because I remember him and his friend came out of a building one time, and I was so scared I ran, and I fell and I split my head open. So I have a photo of me with a bandage on my head from October of '73. So I know that by that time we were already active because I have a date stamp on a photo of when I fell and split my head open. But anyway, the pee thing, we were in the public pool. And I was at that age where I didn't, like, I would go underwater and I would suck his dick, and I didn't think anybody around the pool could see. Like, I didn't know. Like, that's where you're at. So he peed in my mouth. And I didn't care for that. And I came up and I'm like, don't do that again. And I went back down. But,
Wait, is this all real or is
it's
it
all
a bit?
real. It's all real. Oh, no, this is real. I mean, trust me. What a
You
weird. This would be a weird.
blowing Alex's mind right now.
This would be a weird bit to write. The public pool, 1974. But he peed in my mouth, and I said, "Don't do that again." And he said he wouldn't. But I went back down. I went back down, and he did it again. So I learned a real lesson about trust. That was so. Anyway, at that age, that's the first time I experienced that. But I was young because I didn't think that anyone above the water could see. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when you're a kid, you hide. You're like, no one can see me. So that's kind of these weird, vague, murky timestamps I have on when this stuff started happening. But
do you look at that period of your life like with grief or like victimization? Do you feel that you were taken advantage of in that moment? Or were you just like, oh, I'm a kid being a kid?
Both. I don't know if there was taking. I don't like to play victim in anything. Like, I enjoyed a lot of it. It felt good. Again, there's a lot of it's murky. I don't remember a lot of it, but the stuff I do remember, I felt good doing. So, you know, I always told my therapist that I just kind of showed up for it. And
Do you think anything happened before then? Because I'm like, first grade, I don't even think.
Well, there was a bunch.
Sucking dick.
I can count 10 before fourth grade. Like, there was 10 different people in my neighborhood that we were sexual, but we were all sexual together. And again, back then there was very little parental supervision. You know, your parents were doing what they were doing. But yeah, oh my God, these two twins. You're asking about pee smell. These two twins. They were twins. No, they weren't twins. They're brother sister. One was my age. The boy was my age, and the sister was a year older.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they both would wet their pants a lot. Like, I don't know what was going on in their house, but they were both pissing their pants a lot. So I would lay behind the bushes, and I would get both of them to sit on my face at different times because I liked the way it smelled.
What?
I'll be appearing in Tampa.
See, this is why I say dudes in Jersey, bro. Jersey's different, bro.
So what, Al, you never had an experience like that where like you were peeing on people or getting peed on?
It's weird enough being around y'all with the white boy fun, and this is next level shit.
This is the most extreme version of it.
The honesty is so admirable.
Yeah,
but I'm
I
also
do
deeply
like that.
uncomfortable.
How have you?
Stories.
Were you never insecure about sharing it? That's what I've always been like shocked by you. Is that like you're around people, especially comedians, who will, and obviously you're fucking proficient at this too. Like, if someone's gonna come at you, they better be ready. But like, you never felt like they would use any of this to belittle you, or
You know, people make fun of you for sure. I mean, but you whenever you put something into the stratosphere, you understand that it's going to be used to make fun of you. But I didn't care. I'm not sensitive about it. It's life experience. Like, if
You
it's
were
got
never sensitive?
What's that?
Like, you were never sensitive?
Maybe coming up, like you know, you learn, you lose shame the more you talk about it. The more you own something, the more you talk about it, the less shame you have with it.
Yeah.
Because shame is the killer. Like, you know what I mean? It's shame for things. It's self-hatred, which again, there was a lot of that mixed in as well. But talking about it and making it funny, I mean, it was like, I don't care if they like it. You start to not care because I don't believe anybody. I know all of you have the dirty secret. Everyone has them. I don't care if you have a totally regular marriage. There's something you like that you'd be humiliated if all of us knew. That's the same for every person. And the more school teachers I met that wanted to be spanked, the more people I realized were never what you think publicly. You lose shame because you're like, we're all.
And if anything, you're being more honest than everybody else is.
Yeah, but I don't even think I'm doing anything great. Like, it's just, I just like to talk about it and be funny with it. And I don't judge other people for it.
And weirdly, no one seems to judge you about it. That's the thing. And maybe it's your comfort with it. Like, when I say nobody, I mean, like, especially in the comedy community. It's just like, oh yeah, Jim's into like weird shit. Anyway. Where there are certain people who like hide maybe their deviance.
Oh, yeah.
And it feels like there's more judgment there because it's like, hey, you're lying.
Well, we're a gotcha culture. We like to get people. We like to nail people. Gotcha. But if you talk about it and you don't care if they know about it, there's no joy. It's more about people's desire to punish other people for stuff.
So it's not even the thing. It's the desire to punish.
Of course.
And the thing is just a tool that they're using.
100%. That's all fake.
So you're doing like the Eminem 8 Mile before Eminem 8 Mile. Like you're owning all these things about yourself. So it's like, say whatever you want about me. I already said it.
Yeah, it was more Jim Norton, Yellow Brick Road.
Wow. What about tickling? Kinosmolognia.
Interesting fetish, never my thing. I'm familiar with it as a fetish, but it's never done anything for me to do it. I might have met one woman who was into it. And I don't think it's crazy, but it's just, it's just too childlike for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, somebody being dirty I like, but somebody innocence I don't think is sexy at all.
Right.
I like dirty. Like, you know what I mean? Like locked in a fucking perverted brain. But somebody being tickled and coochie cooing them.
Yeah. Would you ever do like hotlines, like call up, like those, there's a name for it, telephonophilia.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
But like I would see these things like 3 a.m. where it's like call for a sexy phone call or whatever.
No, I remember though, it used to be like in these magazines, this was for the internet, they would advertise these dirty phone lines. So I remember there was one where you sent in money, like I mailed in cash and through the US mail, and I got a code with a bunch of phone numbers on it mailed back to me. And you would call any one of these phone numbers and one of the women would answer and you had 30 days and talk dirty to you. So I would call at all hours of the morning before. That's when I worked a day job, probably late 80s. And you would call them and different women would answer and you could talk dirty. But a lot of times they were in California. So it was 4 a.m. when it was 7 a.m. for me. I remember some woman got really mad at me. She's like, you want to talk about that at this time of morning? And hung up on me. Really fucking angry. I'm like, I paid $90 for this month. It was a lot of money back then, man. When you have no money, $90 is a big nut for a month. Yeah. So I was never big on the 900 numbers though.
Right.
I did them. It was never my thing necessarily because it was too much. Ooh, what are you doing, baby? And that performative shit never did anything for me.
Oh yeah, because you need it to be real.
It needs to be real.
It's more of a turn on if it's somebody's.
But what about the prostitutes who like the goal is for them to not be real, I would imagine. Like, how do you lock into their deviance?
That's why he liked the talking part after.
That's why I like the talking part. But also, I didn't do anything crazy with them. Like, I wasn't. It would have to be something like if they were advertising like kind of fetish stuff or domination, then I would assume that it was something that they. But anybody, I never wanted somebody going crazy and going like, because I'm like, look, I know the fuck I'm giving you. It's not worthy of that. You know what I mean? I'm giving you a 5 here. Let's keep it at a 5.
And would you tell them stop if they were doing that?
No, but I would indicate that I didn't need it. Like somehow indicate it or just talk normal to, like I didn't need porn star.
Would you rather them do the opposite? Would you rather them?
I didn't want complete honesty. I mean, nobody wants that face.
Some people like to be berated. They like to be like, "Oh, your fucking dick's short," or "Some other guy fucks me," but you wouldn't.
Oh, cuck stuff. Oh,
you're into the cuck stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
Have you ever watched?
I have. Yeah.
Your girl?
Only with one girlfriend. I did. No, I did it with 2 girlfriends. One girlfriend I just watched fool around with another girl.
Oh, but that's not.
But her boyfriend was there, and we liked it. But
so the two of you as boyfriends were watching the 2 girlfriends?
The 2 girls together, and then we would each fool around with our own girl. Like, we didn't swap. But then with one girl, we got escorts twice. and I watched her blow this escort. And it was really hot and dirty, but I wanted an escort because I didn't want anybody who would get attached. Like I did, because it was in my house. So I didn't want somebody who knew where this woman was going to be all the time. But it hurt the relationship in the end. Like I realized like that stuff is so much better talked about, because when you see it, real jealousies can creep in.
On your part?
A little bit. I became insecure. The third time we tried it, like the rule was whichever one of us wants to stop the experience can stop it without any hesitation. But I indicated I was kind of getting uncomfortable, and she got a little annoyed at me. So that kind of blew up into more. But by then I did, first of all, I don't blame her for getting annoyed at me. I was cheating, and she knew I was cheating. Like, you know what I mean? I was in no position to go like, hey, now easy with that 9-inch penis. Like, I just, but it was the final nail in the coffin for a relationship that I was destroying anyway.
Yeah. Whoa.
I was ruining it.
And so you never did it again because of that experience?
Right. I've talked about it. I love to talk about it. I love the idea of it. Like, I love when a woman will talk about ex-lovers and guys she would rather be fucking. It's hot to me. But so many things in fantasy are okay in fantasy, but in real life, that's when things get messy.
Yeah.
It is interesting, the mental stimulation. Like, that's what they would say about, like, Stephen Hawking still being able to get a boner or whatever like that.
Sure.
Like, it is, it's not just a purely physical thing. I don't even know if there are that many guys that exist like that, who could just, like, bury their face in a girl's neck and then fuck.
There is enough of them to where I wish I was one of them. Like, I wish I was one.
Look, a new girl, sure, but a girl you've been with forever.
Oh, yeah. You need something.
You've been married for 20 years. You think you're just burying your fucking head in your wife's neck?
That's different.
No, there needs to be something.
Even with a new girl.
I'm trying my best. I'm T&B right now, dude.
T&B.
Touch bust.
Really?
Are you really?
Serious?
Yeah, it
Oh
never
my
came.
God, you're so lucky. Well, that's
And I
so-
do consider myself lucky, to be honest with you.
You really are. Those guys that were like, oh man, I'm too pumpy. I'm like, oh man, you should thank God every night for that. Your life is so.
But he's only been with
Yeah,
one
I
woman
haven't
for his
had
entire life.
very much other sexual stimulation, so it's easy.
Only
for
one
me.
girl. Are you married?
Yeah.
Oh, you met her really young, fell in love with her.
Precisely that.
That's an interesting life, man. You haven't, and you still enjoy the sex?
It's great.
It's an interesting life.
That's a great way to be. Like, that's a healthy, like that I envy.
I think it's partially because I have no other frame of reference, really. Like,
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Like, if you're raised eating broccoli, that's all you're ever gonna have.
It probably tastes sweet.
exactly.
Yeah, God,
yes.
broccoli is delicious, but the minute someone shoves a fucking,
Dick in your mouth.
you're like, wow, broccoli has been lacking.
Yes, exactly. I feel like an African tribesman. You know what I mean? And I don't need gushers. I don't think about
You've
Oreos.
never tried Pepsi.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just eating elk.
Can you say I love you when you have sex to somebody that you actually love?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Ah, it must be fun.
What do you mean?
Ah, you
Tell us,
guys.
Jim. Tell us.
You guys.
Wait, why?
You just
why?
asked us, can you be honest with someone that you're honest with?
Yeah.
Sure, but I can't say I love you because it breaks something. Like, if I love you, I want it to be dirty, and you're talking about other guys you'd rather fuck. And if I just met you, I can say I love you.
Because it's not real.
It's not real.
It's flipped.
This is
Everything
like the
flipped.
Madonna whore complex.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Madonna-
Explain this. So, like, you do love the person.
Oh, very much.
Obviously, you love your wife. You
Love
love
her.
your girlfriends that
Very
you've been
much.
in. But you're transporting yourself to this, like, dirty version when you're having sex. And that breaks the frame.
Yeah. So whatever is the like, like if I was with a sex worker, I didn't want to call her like, oh yeah, you fucking whore. Like, it wasn't like that. It was more like I liked it to be kind of nice and like, oh, like she's kind of enjoying this and being dirty with me. Like, and then there's been times where I said I love you. Like, oh man, there was one girl we would kiss a lot, and we were gonna have sex, and I didn't. And before I put it in, she's like, I have condoms if you want. And when she said if you want, I was like, And she was like, all right, if you're ready to be a daddy. And I just put it in, and I had sex with her without a condom. I think I told her I loved her. It was so fucking hot.
And did you leave it in?
Not with her, but I had with a couple of other ones, yeah. I actually do like gambling.
Turns out.
Yeah.
Really? You were shooting up the club with prostitutes?
I shot inside, a couple times, yeah.
Immediate paranoia afterwards?
the next day, I think the last time I did that, it's so funny, was if this, again, these weird frames of reference, was, I believe it was at the end of the year in 2011, because I remember afterwards, she and I were sitting around talking, and she knew who Patrice was, and he was in the hospital at that point. He'd had a stroke, but he was still alive. So I think that was at the end of 2011 that I did that. And I saw her 18 months later. You know what I mean? And she was very sexy. I remember I had full unprotected sex with her, told her I loved her when I came inside of her. And then...
Did she have a 9-month-old kid?
Well, no, but she was pregnant when I saw her again.
Oh, shit.
She was pregnant when I saw her again, but it was a year and a half later. And we didn't have sex. We just fooled around a little bit. But she was so honest. She goes, yeah, it's a client. And she goes, he got me pregnant, and I told him I'd get the abortion for this much money, but he didn't want to do it. And I know how much money he makes, and now he's going to be paying X amount % for the next 18 years. So I'm like, I realized, like, wow, I would have been in big trouble. But I was very happy she told me that. Like, she was very honest about how she got pregnant and with who. Not the name.
You were fooling around with her while she was pregnant?
Only one time, but I don't think I knew she was when she came over, until she came over.
Yeah.
But again, we had always kind of stayed in touch.
But she came in her then, right?
No, not the second time. I didn't have sex with her when she was pregnant.
Oh.
This was like, and again, 2012, maybe I saw her. We just had oral sex. I didn't have sex with her. I've never been into pregnancy. Like the idea of pregnancy, some guys fetishize it. I certainly didn't want it in my life, as is pretty obvious. I'm like, we're going to avoid that at all costs. But I never, like, a lot of guys like pregnant women. They like lactating, and I just that's not my thing.
Yeah, I knew a dude that would like find women on Craigslist and buy their breast milk. And he was like, that was my favorite thing. And he's like, if you paid like an extra like $1,000, they would let you rip it from the tap. And that was like his thing. He loved it.
Jesus, what else did he enjoy doing? Like taking toys from kids? Like, that's basically taking a kid's lunch. For all of my dirtiness, I've never wanted to steal a kid's fucking lunch. hey, I'm going to jerk off and eat those Lunchables. Like, I hear your fucking kids screaming in the other room. Fucking crazy. Yeah, that's never been my thing.
With your level of like profile, but also like being so public with certain levels of deviance, did you have people reaching out to you that maybe had some type of profile themselves that were like, hey, keep this between us, but like I would love to explore this thing with you?
No, I wish I did.
Really?
No, man, no. Other people in public life never. There was women in porn who I got to know. And they would like me because I didn't talk about them like they were punchline. Like I like people in porn. I respect it. It's a fucking hard job, man. Guys I've been on porn sets, and I've hosted the AVN Awards twice. And the first time I hosted was with, January of 2004 with Jenna Jameson. And so I got to go to Jenna's shoot. And it was like a fucking craft services. It was like any film set you're on. And then you go one level lower, and it's like there's a crew and there's a director, but it's kind of lower budget. And then I went and saw like just one guy with a camera filming a woman. And you see the different levels, but that's a fucking hard job, man. Porn is really difficult. Like, so to have sex in front of a room full of people with an unsexy atmosphere. You know what I mean? There's a director. That's why you hear dumb music, but you don't hear the director, oh, come on, let's go. Look this way a little bit more. I'm going to need the pop. I'm going to need the pop. And you're like, I don't know how these guys stay hard or how these women stay into it. It's fucking crazy. So I've always respected people in that business. So they tended to like me because I didn't think they were... like I didn't look at them like that.
Right.
And I always hate people who do, because it's like, you jerk off looking at them, motherfucker.
Yeah, so who are you? Yeah.
Who the fuck are you? You with your fucking dumpy spouse? Oh, look at her, she's a whore. You married a fucking lady with skin tags on her neck. Go fuck yourself. Fuck you. I always hated that attitude about, you know what I mean? They always deserved a certain level of respect that they didn't get, I thought.
Right.
What about like industry people? Do they feel comfortable opening up to you and telling you about their stuff?
Industry as in the business we're in?
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Oh, that's surprising.
No.
Really? There wasn't like more honesty around you because you're so open?
Oh, maybe comedians, sure. Maybe
I would
friends.
imagine.
Yeah. That type of stuff, sure. But I mean, like, as far as at large, no. I think it made people a little uncomfortable.
You think you were making people
At a
uncomfortable?
certain point, sure. Like certain
Early
things.
on.
Yeah, or even when you're on the radio. Like, people in the business don't want to hear that shit. Like, you know what I mean? It's weird to hear some of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
to me, it's not weird. None of it's weird. It's all...
Can we talk about how insane the radio run was for a little? Because, I don't know, it's just...
as I've like been in the business for a while, there's like these ebbs and flows with certain things. And like when it's happening in the moment, it feels like the biggest thing that could ever exist.
Yes.
And it's interesting how like 5-10 years could go away. And it's not that people forget that it happened.
Right.
But like it doesn't have that same, velocity. It doesn't have that same like illumination.
Not at all, yeah.
It is a kind of crazy experience because I remember Opie and Anthony, especially like in this part of America, having like a stranglehold on culture.
Yeah.
And like just insane. Like you even think about like early things that pop certain guys, definitely you, but like Bill Burr's thing in Philly. Sure. Do you know that thing where he like was ripping? That's an Opie and Anthony show.
I was on that show.
You were on the show.
I remember it happened, yeah. And I remember it happened to him in Cleveland too. And Bill,
because was Bill frequently on?
This was right. We were the first show like show of our kind on satellite, which was October of 2004, whereas Stern came on satellite January of 2006. So we were there for about 14 months before, and this was only when XM and Sirius were separate. So we started small. We had to rebuild our audience from when we got fired, but it was a very kind of hardcore show early on. And Bill would be on the satellite show all the time. But then we got this weird split deal, which is when we were doing 5 hours a day, where we would do the first 3 hours on regular radio and satellite together. Okay. And then the final 2 hours, we would walk down the street, we would broadcast walking down 57th Street, go back to the XM studios, do the final 2 hours on XM alone. So when the regular radio audience started to hear us, they knew me, they knew Opie and Anthony, they didn't know Bill. Because Bill wasn't famous then, and only the satellite audience knew him. So a lot of these audiences in these traveling virus shows were from terrestrial radio, this new K-Rock show we were doing. So they started booing Bill. They booed Don Marrera. I think they booed like Jimmy Schubert, like real Philly guys. And Bill just did his legendary rant. And they eventually turned it around. It was incredible.
Yeah.
So in Cleveland, they tried doing the same thing to him. And I remember he was having a meltdown. He was so fucking pissed off that they were just booing him. And I remember talking to him, and we were in a hotel room. And it was like, you did something amazing, and they're just trying to recreate it. Like, they don't hate you.
They heard about the moment, and they want that to happen
They wanted him to do it in Cleveland. Like, they understood that the moment was so great, what he had done organically.
That's one of the first viral stand-up clips.
It really is,
It's like Russell Peters and Bill Burr.
Yeah, that clip, I remember it was shot like with like not a very good camera.
It looked like it was from the audience or something.
Yeah, I believe it was.
I think it's multiple phones.
Oh, was it what?
There's a part where there's no video. From what I remember, it's just audio. And then a couple people spliced together other angles from the crowd.
Oh, they did, okay.
Okay, so you guys get fired. So you're on regular radio.
Yeah, in like 20 markets, yeah.
Okay, and would that be 20 markets? Would that be huge? Like, is that decent?
New York,
like
we were on New York, Boston.
For radio standards, I'm saying.
Very
is that,
big.
That's
it's good size for FM, for what we were doing. I mean, Rush Limbaugh was on probably 200 or 300 like
and
AM
Howard
stations.
was on what?
Probably 50 or more. He was big. Howard was always bigger.
Okay.
But O&A had a reputation. They had been fired in Boston. You know what I mean? It was like...
it seems like the radio guys that got this like escape velocity, because Charlemagne's the same thing. Like he got fired from a bunch of different markets, then finds a home that's going to support him, and then see you later. Yeah. Same thing with Howard, same thing with you guys. So you guys get fired from regular radio.
Yes.
What happened?
Well,
is that the Sex with Sam thing?
Sex for Sam, yeah. It was the Sam was Sam Adams beer. They sponsored this thing that O&A would do every year, where people go around and have sex in all these weird places in New York. And if you had sex, you would get points, and if you had anal, it was a 2-point conversion. And they would have a spotter from the yes, they would have a spotter from the show go, whether it was a producer or a video guy, just to watch the couple and make sure they were having sex and not lying. And they would call in, all right, now we're in the dressing room in Macy's and he's having anal with her. Like, it was that type stuff. So
this is on regular radio.
The terrestrial radio, yeah.
Just to put things in perspective, like
so crazy.
The things that people get, and I hate the word like triggered or offended. Yeah. Now it's just like so overused, but like culturally now, I feel like we would be way more sensitive to something. Like, there's like no way this could happen. Yes, we can say certain words now, but actual action, like this hijinks, the radio hijinks happening back in the day, far more insane than anything happening right now.
It was crazy, and they were having sex all over the city. And I didn't.
Sam Adams sponsored it.
They sponsored it.
A major
beer company.
It would sponsor the guy, the head of the company would always come in. He was because they were on an O&A was massive in Boston too, so he was from Boston. So I didn't go out. I was not a spotter. I wouldn't go out and do it because I guess it was sometime 2001 maybe.
A word you enjoyed it.
But we no.
Jim, you there?
Get out of there, Jim.
Shut up.
No, it'd be more like, get out of there, guys. But no, we had been, Louis Black and I had been arrested for the radio show probably a year before. We were on this bus called The Voice. It's
What happened with the arrest?
Well, there was a company that came in. This is, again, we were on WNEW in the afternoon. It was an afternoon show. And these people came in and they were driving around with a bus with giant windows and half-naked girls, like topless girls, promoting the voyeur bus. So Louis Black, myself, and a couple guys from the radio show get on the bus, and we're just kind of going around with them as they drive through seasonal rush hour traffic in December of 2001. And
That's what the city needed.
it was amazing. Giuliani was mayor. Yeah. They needed a break. Yeah. But there was all these naked girls just showing their tits to people. But so Louis and I were calling in the radio show, just kind of updating them with what was going on. And apparently Clinton he had a route that was mapped off, President Clinton, and we got too close to his route. So they pulled us over. Like CNN had gotten on the bus and done a live report. And we went on to 6th Avenue to go back to the studio, and there was probably like 12 cop cars, all these white shirt, like fucking cops, like, high-ranking cops. Yeah. And they arrested us because we were getting too close to Clinton's marked route.
They're afraid Clinton was going to come on.
Or they'll ruin every dress on the bus. So they arrested us, and we went down to the Tombs and spent 27 hours in jail.
Just for being near his route?
For being on the bus, but they didn't know what to charge us with. They didn't know, so the prosecutor tried to charge us with promotion of the lewdness of a body. That was the charge. And the judge threw it out immediately. He said, you're wasting everybody's time to the prosecutor. But it was just a lesson in I don't ever want to get arrested again.
Spent some time in the Tombs, man.
Yeah. 27 hours, I had to shit. And one of the guys told me to he goes, you got to take toilet paper and roll it up and shove it in your asshole.
To stop the shit from
shitting. And I thanked him very much.
It's a transformative moment in your life.
Yeah.
You're like, I do that anyway. That's fine.
But anyway, that taught me never to get arrested. So when they did Sex for Sam, I didn't go out. So anyway, there was a couple. One of the locations they picked was St. Patrick's Cathedral. And our producer at the time, or our associate producer, was going, don't do it, don't fuck with it. And he was right. Because there was a couple that had anal in one of the either pews or I forget where it was.
Not the first time.
Not, what's that?
Come on, dude. The church is going to come for you, bro. Just watch, dude.
Might be a little familiarity over there with that, right?
It was definitely not the first. It was probably the first time that the person having it done wasn't lisping, going, "What's happening?"
There'll be no consensual anal in this church.
So anyway, there was an arrest made, and then the Catholic League, came after the show.
Oh.
And
got it. You had the religious institution come after the show. That's a little different than you have some like fledgling business that's busting around the city.
Oh, yeah. This was...
you have the power of God.
Yeah. They were very angry. And in fairness, we shouldn't have been fired, but they suspended the show. This was like a few months into a 3-year deal, and I was finally getting paid, and my salary was supposed to double. At the time, I was making $52,000 a year, like $1,000 a week, and it was just about to double to $100,000, and we got kicked off the air before.
Yeah, you already spent that money too in your head.
Oh my God! I just moved into New York. I was living in New Jersey with Jim Florentine and his girlfriend. 3 of us were splitting $900 rent. We had fucking black mold on the walls.
Yeah.
It was a shithole.
Yeah.
So we move into New York because the prices are a little lower now because of 9/11. A lot of the prices went down after 9/11.
Yeah.
So I got my own apartment, $2,400 a month. I'm like, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
We're kicked off the air. And I remember looking up at I'm going to throw myself out the 22nd floor window. I was like, I'm done. My life is getting good. I'm starting to sell theaters, and it's fucking gone. I was suicidal. But anyway, we got kicked off. Opie and Anthony got paid for the whole time.
Did you guys get paid?
I got paid for 6 months, and that was it. But they didn't have to pay me because the contract hadn't been done yet.
But they did the right thing.
They did the right thing for me, and they let me go on other shows. That's why I love Ron and Fez so much, because they would always have me on back then.
Got it.
All these shows would have me on to promote my shows, because they knew I didn't, they knew I was just the third wheel guy. I didn't come up with this.
This is such a full circle moment. So I grew up on like Hot 97, BLS, a little Z100.
Yeah, Star and Buck Wild.
So I missed Opie and Anthony, but I remember this story, and that inspired a time in my life where I just started having sex in public in different places.
Wow.
Swear to God.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
And I never meet your heroes. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
And I did it in a church.
Did you really?
Alex.
Sorry.
Well, here goes the show.
Yeah.
Now, the church, was it empty?
Yeah, it was.
All right. Good for you.
Yeah.
So happy. I'm so happy. This is 6 degrees.
Jim wanted details.
Yeah, exactly.
How many people are in there?
Yeah, but that's 6 degrees of separation.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Were you ever a connoisseur of public sex?
No.
Never a bathroom stall, nothing like that?
Occasionally the idea of it, but I like private and dirty.
Wait, but when you hooked up with the escorts, wasn't that like in the car?
Brought him back.
Yeah, but I would find a desolate spot.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I mean, I liked private and just one-on-one. I was never into group things, or that was never my thing.
Guys, for years, protein bars have been the go-to snack for a quick protein boost, but finding one that delivers real protein without excess calories and sugar has been nearly impossible. Most bars contain around 15 grams of protein while packing 300 plus calories and loads of sugar. That formula stayed the same until now, okay? David's Protein Bar redefines what is possible. David delivers 28 grams of protein in just 150 calories with zero sugar, giving your body what it actually needs without the unnecessary fillers. And they are now available at Walmart. With 40% more protein, 50% fewer calories than the leading protein bars, David offers a superior science-backed protein boost that doesn't compromise on taste. It's not just another protein bar. It is the future of protein. Perfect for the gym, on the go, or anytime you want maximum efficiency from your nutrition. Listen, all of our listeners can buy 4 cartons and get the 5th for free at davidprotein.com/flagrant, or you can find David nationwide at a Walmart near you. Be sure to check out the 4 packs of salted peanut butter and the blueberry pie, exclusively sold in Walmart stores. Now let's get back to the show. Guys, boner time. Blue Chew Gold. Some of you have tried it. You already know what time it is. Some of you have not. You deserve it. Your girl deserves it. Your side chick deserves it. Your wife deserves it. Blue Chew is the #1 boner brand in the business. And they've just made it better. There's only a 15-minute wait for that rock hard dick. Back in the day, maybe it's 30. 30 minutes is a lot of time. Anything can happen in 30 minutes. Anything can happen, especially you not getting laid. 15 minutes, that's like a 99% success rate. 15 minutes, you don't even have to take it until you're back home already hooking up. The process is simple. You can get it all online. You get started today at bluechew.com and you go for gold. And we got a special deal for our listeners right now. When you buy 2 months of Blue Chew Gold, you get a 3rd for free with the promo code FLAGRANT. That's promo code FLAGRANT. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. We thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. Okay, so you guys get back on the air 2 years later. This is the Sirius XM deal.
2004, yeah.
Okay. Does this begin like the heyday of Opie and Anthony?
Yeah, I mean, they were big before, though. They were big before I came on board. I mean, before I came on, it was only on in New York. Yeah. Opie and Anthony was only on in New York. And eventually we got syndicated to Philly, but by then I was on the show.
Is it true that Howard Stern said that you guys weren't allowed to talk about him?
Yeah, at one point he did. I always thought Howard handled Opie and Anthony wrong, because he knew that they were a funny show, and he's like, he was accusing them of ripping him off, and they were definitely influenced by him.
Everybody was.
And they would say it. Opie would say it, Ant would say it. But I always thought he should have looked at those guys as, hey, these guys are funny, give them a shot, and they would have worshipped him. Because they really respected Howard.
Of course, yeah.
But it just got so
combative,
nasty, and back and forth. And, our show, and those guys were not afraid of any show at all. It was brutal, and there was no one was going to say anything about Opie and Anthony without a horrible response.
What do you mean? So you guys are clocking every other radio show that's talking shit, and then you're immediately hammering back?
You would get word, and if Howard talked about you would absolutely know, because he was the biggest.
Of course.
But yeah, at one point they weren't even allowed to. I remember when Nicole Smith had a show, and her lover was Howard K. Stern, and they couldn't even say his name, Howard K. Stern, because the guy down the hall, Al, would dump out. They had a dump button on live radio in case you said one of the FCC violations.
Yeah.
So he would dump out every time they would say it. So they had to reference around it. But yeah, that was at the end of the terrestrial run. He said that they couldn't talk about him.
Wow. What do you think was the event that catapulted the show?
Ooh, I mean, Sex for Sam made it pretty legendary. Them getting fired in Boston before I even came on made it legendary.
What about with you guys during the Sirius run?
We had some funny moments at Sirius XM, like with the cult following, like John Valby, who's one of my favorite comics of all time, Dr. Dirty. He would play dirty piano. And he was prolific and he was brutal. But we were in the building above the Steinway piano place. That was our building. We were on the 5th floor, I think, and Steinway was downstairs. So he went into the Steinway thing because he's an accomplished pianist. And he played in this beautiful Steinway store. He started singing his fucking filthy songs at full volume, eat her pussy, grab her tits. And and we played it live on the air and they threw him out of the store. But that type of stuff got fans like, you don't know what's going to happen on this show and you don't know where it's going to happen. That began, and cherry darts.
Cherry darts?
It was a bunch of girls would come in and they would like, you would have a cherry and they would put whipped cream in their assholes. And you would throw the cherry to see who could get closest to the asshole. And whoever did would win whatever the prize was.
Got to eat the cherry?
Yeah, that was the winner, yeah. But I think I ate all the cherries. Very sweet boy. But like stuff like that, like all the stuff you couldn't do on regular radio, which we then did on XM.
It's almost like, I'm sure you see streaming now and how these streamers will go out into real life and like they'll interface with people. You guys are kind of doing like an early version of that where this guy's going to the Steinway store and interfacing with real employees that are now on the radio kicking him out.
When we did the walkover, which was, again, the technology then was so weird.
How the fuck could you guys do it?
Well, we had portable units and we would push a shopping cart with equipment in it.
Hilarious.
From 57th Street, Hayrock to 57th Street, the Steinway building. It was about a 2-block walk. And the group of listeners would come and follow us and interact with us and meet with us. And Vos would do comedy. We would have Vos, because Vos is fearless. Like he's the rottenest man in the business. He's a mean little bastard.
He's also the sweetest.
So he's the nicest guy behind your back. This is Rich Vos. He's a complete piece of shit when you're in the room, and he's nice when you leave the room. He's really funny. Like
he's the best.
He's the epitome of he
takes a joke well. This is something. There's a lot of guys who could dish it out. The second they start getting made fun of, they get all fucking sensitive.
Yes,
Vos likes it.
Vos's problem is he's greedy, so he'll always punch himself out. And the key with Vos is to just cover up and take the beating, because when he's giving you a beating, it's relentless.
If he gets momentum, it's over.
He gets momentum, and his little legs start going downhill, and you're in deep trouble.
Bro, there's a great clip of you guys. Colin's on. I wonder if it's Jim and Sam or you're on opening, but Colin's on. He's wearing like a Purdue something shirt.
Boilermakers, yeah.
Purdue Boilermakers shirt. And like Colin starts going, and you guys know that Vos is coming on the show. And Colin's like, Vos, I can't do a good Colin Bears. He goes, how long do you think before Vos makes a joke about this shirt? How long? What do you think? He's like, yeah, something, you eat chicken? You eat a lot of chicken, whatever like that. Like you guys call out what's going to happen. Vos walks in the room, and then what is the first
immediately sits down and goes, are you doing colleges again?
He hits one, he hits another, right?
Yeah.
And then he does a third and it doesn't land. And then literally Colin goes, see, that's your problem. You're too greedy. You had us. You had us.
Every time. They were on my podcast the people's favorite episodes of my podcast are when Anthony comes on or when Vos and Colin are on.
Bro, the one where Vos is on and Colin's on and you're there. And you go, my dad once said, And then Vos just goes, less teeth. And it flew over your head. You missed it, I think, when he said it.
For a second, I was like, I couldn't believe he had just said that. Because I'm hard to shock with a mean joke.
Yeah.
And it's such a funny, I'm like, you can't not love that joke. It was one of the meanest things anybody's ever said. It was such a barbaric, rotten thing to say.
Yeah.
So Vos is like a guy who really, and he's fearless. Rich is fucking fearless. And he would go on and we would mic him and he would go into these places and do, I forget what we called
like stand up in a diner.
In a
stand
diner
up on
or
a bus.
Starbucks.
He just started,
Club Soda Kenny would go, ladies and gentlemen, Rich Vos. And he would just walk in and start working the crowd. And people, they didn't know what to make of it. They hated it.
Yeah.
And we would walk over and then finish our show at XM. But it was like that, the homeless shopping spree, the stuff like that, where they would get all these homeless people and just invade a mall. And 1,000 listeners would show up. But they treated the homeless people well. They would buy them clothes, buy them shoes. And the homeless guys were like celebrities on the show. On the show, yeah. They were loved. Like, we would joke with them, but they were really treated well. And people would spend a lot of money on them. And then once XM and Sirius merged, they shut a lot of that down.
The antics.
Yeah, they wouldn't let any more nude girls in the fucking... oh, wow, is there a video of Vos doing this?
Oh, wow.
Last comic standing, please welcome Richard Vos.
Is that Bonnie?
Yeah.
Hey, how we doing? It's good to see you guys. We're going to do a little show because my career's not going. This is how pathetic my life is.
He's got his headphones
I owe my
in.
8-year-old $6 for Girl Scout cookies, and I'm dodging her. She calls me and tries to disguise her voice, but I know it's her. To go, hello, is Daddy home? Not bad, sir. I'm doing a show you can watch. Give me a few minutes, all right? What's your name? Newman. Are you two married? How? Unfortunately, I got a car, and I'm not like the black guys. I'll eat. Well, anyhow. Look, don't get upset, all right? Turn on BET Comic View and watch black comics trash white people for an hour, all right? White people crazy. They pay taxes. You know what I'm saying? Listen up. We had the girl turn her back on me. What country are you guys from? Where are you guys from? Oklahoma? There's a nice little Oklahoma pub you might want to go to on 168th in Amsterdam. It's called Run, Whitey, Run. I'm killing. They're loving me. This is the best crowd I've worked in a while. How you doing?
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah. He's fearless. I mean, he would just go in and start working the crowd. He didn't care.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen him go up. I think it was Comic View or Def Jam.
Oh, yeah.
I was at that taping. He was the first white guy in Def Jam.
Yeah.
I was at
You were at the taping?
I was at that taping. Oh, yeah. Vos and I have been friends since 1990.
So, okay, when you're going, what are you thinking? Are you going like, this is going to be hilarious? Or are you going like, I got to support my boy?
You're rooting for him. I want him because Rich was the white comic who could work all the black rooms and like do really well and be funny.
Yeah.
And I think Steve Harvey was hosting that episode. And Rich went up and he did great. Like, he had a good set.
Yeah.
Vos was always, but he's the only comic. He's the first comic my parents met that they didn't like. They loved every comedian, but Vos makes the worst first impression. He's an awful first impression. They loved him after that, but the first time they met him, they were like, he's not a very nice person.
Why? What did he say to your parents?
I don't know. It was just him. He's just sarcastic, like, you know what I mean? He's lucky he's working. Like, the first time I met him, I fucking didn't like him. I was doing a gig with him and Vinny Brand, and it was I was getting $50 to MC, and I used to love when shows would get canceled because I was so scared to perform.
Oh, wow.
So when they got canceled, I was like, oh, good. I didn't have to do it, but I tried. And we all got paid $50, which is all I was supposed to make. And Vos goes, and don't think we don't know that you're getting full pay and we're not. And I was like, all right, fuck this guy. What a dick. He was just an asshole. And no one likes him when they first meet him.
So maybe I just knew what to expect. I've always loved Rich.
You remember Just for Laughs? I think that was the first place I met.
In Montreal?
Yeah, in Montreal, yeah.
Yeah, what was...
And then, like, I'm his full-time videographer at the time. I come in the green room and he just starts ripping on me. Before hello and anything, I forgot the jokes. Something watermelon, chicken something, whatever. And it just gives me a big hug. What's up, brother? It's just hilarious. He had the whole green room just cracking up.
It's hard to be mad at him. Like, he's just, because he really is just like a little machine gun, a rotten little machine gun who just fires at everybody.
And he's always clocking. Like, Mark got hit by a classic Vos line the other day.
Yeah. I mean,
this is a classic.
Which Mark?
This is Mark.
Yeah. Mark Norman.
No, we were at the cellar and like he just like came around the table and just immediately on the energy, just like, "Oh, what you guys chatting about?" And then he's talking with someone, and then I try to chime in the conversation. He goes, "Yeah, this conversation is for headliners." Anyway,
classic boss line. And did he take out the dollar and ask you to get him a coffee?
Yeah, exactly.
Great one. Great.
How long are you doing comedy? 4 years. Get me a coffee.
Yeah.
He rubs everyone the wrong way.
But the reputation preceded him, so I already knew.
That's the thing for
so
me.
I was honored in a way.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
"Oh, I get the whole show.
I
This is
didn't.
amazing."
I'm like, I didn't know. I'm like, who is this fucking reformed crackhead with a fucking ponytail? He was awful. Like, I knew he was. We all knew Rich. He was headlining back, even when I was new.
Yeah.
But, he was a guy who would shit on you in person, but he was not a sneak. Like, he would always treat you well when it mattered behind your back. You know what I mean? I love Vos. He's one of my closest friends.
Okay, so during that break, like when you guys get fired, you guys create this show, which is the show that like is my kind of like entire New York understanding of comedy and identity, which is like Tough Crowd, which is, to me, it felt always, and I imagine this was like the inspiration for it, but like the back table at the Cellar.
Yes, that was it, yeah.
That's the idea. It's like Colin Quinn is hosting it. You're on it. Patrice is on it. Vos is on it. And there's a bunch of other comic. And Keith is on it. Geraldo's killing on it, right?
Yeah, he's great.
And, but like, to me, that was always the idea. Like, I grew up in the East Village. I would go to the Cellar as a kid. Like, and I understood you guys when I was getting into comedy. And the heyday for me for New York comedy was you guys at the back table. And I kind of was like at the tail end of it. So I kind of just came in observing it.
Yeah.
But like watching you guys just absolutely beat on each other was like a true joy for a young comic. And like, I feel now maybe people are like a little bit separate. Maybe they're a little kinder in person, but I don't know what it was. But you guys, for whatever reason, it just felt like best friends in the back of the school bus just ripping each other apart. And I don't know if something has changed. I don't know what it is.
I think it's because like now being wounded is a rung in the ladder to climb, or pointing out when someone says something that's not appropriate. That fucking shit scolding culture has become a way of climbing the ladder.
Oh, you can get points for shitting on other comics.
But publicly, or for being like, if they say something really rotten to you, you go out and you go, and
he was so mean to me.
Yeah.
You see that a lot of times, like comics like talking about how another comedian was mean to them at a comedy club or something like that. And that was the culture that I kind of saw and really admired and thought was the most awesome thing coming up.
And just handle it with that person. Like, again, we're talking about just guys saying mean things, but you have to be friends too. Like, we were all friends. Like,
I think that's the difference. I think a lot of people now have like made it in different ways, and they're all going to the Cellar, but they didn't really come up together through open mics, through hell gigs, and built that camaraderie where you could just rip somebody apart and it's okay.
Yeah.
It feels personal now, maybe.
It does, and I think that everyone feels like there's more at stake with everything you say. Like, my first gig with Keith Robinson was it was a place called Casey O'Toole's in Wayne, New Jersey, and it was probably 1991. And I was opening, Keith was featuring, and Jim Breuer closed. And I think that was my first time meeting Breuer. And
great storyteller, by the way, Jim.
Jim Breuer is the fact that people will there's certain people who don't like his political views. I don't care about them at all. Jim Breuer is he's a great comic, and he's one of the best storytellers I've ever seen.
If you just hang out with him, like we did a show, like it was in Europe or Iceland or something. We were randomly together on this thing. And he was just like chopping it up backstage. And like him telling a story, he will act out each person in the story. His like face will transform into these different characters. Like, it's unbelievable.
It's a gift. And like people who think he's not a good comic because you're crazy. He's
he's good.
And he's amazing. I've done radio with him for years, and I would just sit there and watch him talk for an hour.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. Yeah. It was funny. And it was, I'm a terrible, and I've talked about this. I'm just not a good storyteller. I've never been good. My jokes were fast, and they just move different because I hold no one's interest. I really don't.
You've done a pretty good job today. I just want to
say. but Jim Breuer has a gift for storytelling. Yeah. So anyway, Keith bombed, I bombed, and Breuer fucking murdered in this horrible Casey O'Toole's gig. But that's how long I know these guys.
Yeah.
Me and Patrice, our first gig with Patrice was a fucking college where for this guy Jamie Duckett, it was an afternoon gig, and that's probably 2007 maybe. We did this antisocial tour, It was I would host it, and we would either have Bill, we would have Attell and Breuer, or Artie did them. Stanhope did a couple.
Sorry, I cut you off on a story about Patrice there.
Oh, that's okay. I was saying the first gig I did with him was it was a college, and I bombed hosting. Patrice, I think Jamie Duckett was bringing in from Boston. So he was like high on Patrice. Patrice bombed as a feature. I had a 0. Patrice might have had a 2. And then this guy, Dom Fig, went on and completely bombed worse than both of us. And I had to drop Patrice back off in the city. And he was just kind of shitting on me the whole time and my stage presence and the way I talked. I'm like, fuck you. I'm like, who is this cocksucker?
I didn't know him at all. That was the first time.
No. Again, another awful first impression. Like, who likes this person? I'm like, you bombed too, stupid. He's like, nah. He thought he actually did really well. So he was also delusional. Yeah. But like that, when you come up like that and you're comfortable being mean to each other. It's just, you're friends. You love each other.
That's the relationship I've always had with my friends.
Yes.
And like the comedians that I kind of came up with. But again, it was a different like rite of passage, because I remember with you guys, anybody who sat down at the table, you're going to get it.
Yeah.
There's no passive observers at the table back in the day at the Cellar.
No. And that's the worst sound you could hear was Keith Robinson, whose laugh is just, it's very rare that a laugh makes you feel bad. But Keith has a laugh.
Oh, dude.
It's just, it's bad news. Like when you're walking in and I'll be sitting there and you can hear, and you're like, oh, I'm not ready. I know it's going to be ugly.
Do you remember some of the biggest slams that people had? Like I've heard lore.
The biggest one, we gave Bill Burr a savaging one time because we found out he was doing comedy on a bus for the World Series tickets. I think it was a World Series. It might have been 2001. I don't remember. Or maybe, no, it might have been one of the later Yankee runs. I just don't remember. But I don't remember what was said, but I remember it was probably a 45-minute savage beating of Bill, and everybody was in on it. It was like one of those...
What were you guys saying?
They were just mocking. I don't remember any of the jokes. I just remember the fact that it's weird to see Bill just sit there and have nothing to... Because Bill's
good.
Funny and fast and also very mean when he wants to be.
Yeah.
And there was just no defense. I mean, you know what I mean? There was no defense.
Onslaught.
You're doing comedy on a bus.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can say about it. But there was a guy named Eddie.
Boss was like, what's the gig?
and there was a guy named Eddie, and him and Patrice were going back and forth. And Patrice was destroying him.
Eddie who?
Ift. Yeah. And I like Eddie, and I'm sure he's fine with this at that point. But, we all got a beating, and it was Eddie's turn.
Yeah.
So it was so bad. It was such a bad beating that none of us even chimed in. There was a lot of guys there too. I was there. Vos was there. Bill might have been there. It was just a bunch of guys watching this this mauling, and really enjoying it. And I remember Eddie just got mad, and he goes, "Yeah, well, fuck you. I do colleges. You don't do colleges." And Vos goes, "Yeah, you do colleges. You do PU because you stink." And that might be one of the purely most perfect things I've ever seen said to level a guy. That was perfection. That was a perfect line.
What was your relationship like with Patrice?
I loved him. I mean, he was my friend. He was just, to me, he was just my, everyone knew he was the funniest guy. Like
He's the funniest.
He was the funniest, meanest guy.
Yeah.
But he also would laugh, and he could take a joke, and he could take a beating.
Who gave him the best beatings?
It's hard to say. All of us, because he told me, he gave me a good compliment one time. He came in, there was a big guy who came in, and Patrice just started shitting on him because everybody was afraid of the guy.
Can we say who it was?
I don't know. It was a stranger. It was a stranger. It wasn't a comedian. A guy who was mentally off.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to him something about, like, you just did that because you wanted that guy to think that you weren't afraid of him and that you were there. So I was just shitting on him a little bit. And he said, you're the only one that picks out my phoniness. And it made me feel very good. He goes, you're the only one that spots my phoniness, which I wasn't, by the way. Many of us saw him. But he could take it, too. Like, he knew he was the same as we are. And I remember he called me one time. This was like, he was like 40. And he was really, he was like, man, I'm irrelevant. Like, he felt irrelevant. He felt like he's so like,
interesting.
I'm irrelevant. I'm off the grid. He just felt like he wasn't relevant. Yeah.
This is before Elephant in the Room or after?
Don't remember. I stopped into the taping of Elephant on the Room, but I didn't watch it. We had the same manager for many years.
I watched it. I was there.
You saw the whole taping?
Yeah. I'm a huge Patrice fan.
Sure.
This is my number one. I think he's the greatest of all time.
Yeah, he was brilliant.
Yeah. But, okay, you were saying you stopped in.
Oh, just that he had these same feelings every comic. Like I get a kick out of, and I'm sure he secretly enjoys this, if there is an afterlife, is the fact that people will torment all of us with, what would Patrice, I wish Patrice could see this. Like when you're being a douche or about my fucking married life, what would Patrice say? First of all, it wouldn't be kind. But he's still being used 15 years later to torture his friend. I'm sure he would enjoy that.
You had the best description of Patrice, and I don't want to butcher it, but like he lived his life as if his friend, as if a documentary was being made of it and only his friends were going to watch it.
Oh,
do you remember saying something like that?
I don't, but it sounds accurate.
For like the Patrice doc or something. I don't know. I saw this clip.
Oh, I don't remember it. I mean, but he did, like his whole thing was he kind of had to be who he was in front of everybody. Like
at all times.
We had an argument one time, like it was at the Colin Quinn show, which was before Tough Crowd. There was 3 episodes he did. It was live on the SNL stage on NBC.
Oh, wow.
It was 9:30 on a Monday, I think, and it went out live. And Lauren produced it, and I think I did the final 2 episodes. And the precursor for Tough Crowd was this little thing, a segment he would have called the Town Hall, where there'd be like 4 comedians just sitting on the stoop, but you were doing a bit from your act. Joey Vega did it, I did it, Geraldo.
Kind of like Comics Unleashed-esque.
In a way, yes,
Yeah.
but it was without the pleasantness. Like Byron Allen's, it's a different energy he has.
It's a positive, fun energy.
Yeah,
supportive, sweet energy.
Like where you don't call each other out, but whereas Tough Crowd was like you just couldn't wait for someone to flop. But we would do our little 1 minute or 2 minute bit to the camera. And I remember I was going over some censor, was talking to standards and practices backstage at NBC, and Patrice was just taunting me. And I'm like, I'm trying to get a bit through standards and practices. And I just fucking snapped at him. I'm like, will you shut the fuck up? I know you're a comic. And it just got like real. So once in a while you would get angry at each other.
Yeah.
And I think of all the people to mediate, it was Keith Robinson.
No way.
Which when Keith has to come in and actually be the voice of reason, when that obnoxious Philly asshole has to come in and you're like, wow, Keith is right. But you know, once in a while you would get frustrated with each other.
Right.
But we were doing one of them. And it might have been the 3rd episode, and I'm watching Patrice do his bit. And, you know, he would do this thing where he would act like he was just
thinking of it on the spot.
Yeah, Mr. Casual, you know, Mr. Brilliant just stopped in to be a conduit for funny. Yeah. And, and I was watching him, and I'm just sitting right next to him, and I'm looking at him, and he's going, and I'm like, he forgot his joke.
No!
And the joy. I'm like, oh, this fucking asshole forgot his joke on live television. I was so happy, but he did get it. He recovered it, and he found where he was going. But I remember just watching it and watching him stumble and going, oh, this is going to be a wonderful moment. He forgot his thing on live television, but he recovered and he found it. But again, he was like all of us. He was flawed. He was just he was our buddy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I love that he has this.
We've mythologized him.
And I'm okay with it because he really was a very real guy and a very real talker. And, you know, again, I did hours of radio with him. So I watched his brain work in real time. And he was brilliant. I mean, you know, he was a brilliant thinker. You know, so I love that he's got this. And I've said many times, we did a lot more benefits for him than he would have done for any of us. Believe me. I would have been lucky if I died of a stroke, if that fucking idiot showed up to the first
show. He
would have done 1 Jim Norton benefit. And then by year 2, he would have been like, he didn't have insurance? Like he would not have done a bunch of fucking benefits.
Every year they do the Patrice O'Neill benefit.
I think they stopped. I haven't done the last few years.
They did it this year.
They did do it, but I think that might have been the last one for a while. But yeah, I love that he has this this kind of aura. Whenever you die young, people look at it like that. But he was deserved of the respect.
Yeah, I mean, dies the same year that Elephant in the Room comes out.
Oh, was it the same year? I didn't remember.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure that.
Elephant in the Room was.
It comes out 2011.
He died in 2011. He died in.
Wow.
I think it was.
Yeah, this comes out in February 2011.
We watched that.
He passed
like
away
it was
like a playoff game. Like we had a watch party.
Oh, really? Yeah, he was that was the same year. So he was starting to get the Charlie Sheen roast, where he just went off book. He was on late, and he just leaned in and kind of did his thing.
He kind of roasted the roast in a lot of ways. Yeah,
yeah, and he was really funny. I mean, he really was.
And the stand-up was great.
Great
the bits were great. He was a great writer, and he had this like casual way of like talking through the audience. You know, it wasn't like the crowd was involved, but it was always like him imposing his ideas on the crowd.
Yes.
It wasn't him like asking them what they think. It was, this is what I think, and you're going to fucking agree eventually.
And if you don't agree, you're still going to listen to it.
The entire time.
You know, I was talking to Louis recently about like when you're doing stand-up, how a bit becomes stale sometimes.
Yeah.
And he's like, I was out with him for 7 weeks on a tour recently, and he said, he goes, yeah, I was really thinking about everything I was saying tonight and making sure I was like, that's how you keep a bit alive. You think about what you're actually wanting to say to the audience.
Yeah.
Not these are just words coming out while I think of something else. And Patrice would always do that. Like everything he said, he wanted to say to the audience. You could tell he really wanted to say this thing about relationships, so it never felt
It didn't feel like
stale.
an excuse to get a laugh.
No.
It felt like even if he wasn't on stage, this is what he would be telling you about.
Oh yeah,
off stage.
Yeah, he would talk about the same stuff on stage, off stage.
Yeah,
I mean, we would just go there. We would be at the cellar till 2:30 in the morning playing chess. I would be out with Dice again. This is between '97 and 2000. So I would fly home from Vegas, get to the cellar at like 11 p.m. to midnight. Do a late spot. I'd be overtired. I hadn't slept, and we would just play chess and just scream at each other in the street till 3 in the morning. It was great.
And this is a time where like the cellar is starting to really pop off, but it's not what it is now where there's, 4 different rooms and multiple shows. There was a time where it was just the McDougal, and then there would be an early show, and the late show would have people that just stayed from the early show.
It was or you would just do, I think at one point it was just, you would do one long show and you get food spots. I started there making money. I wouldn't get paid, I would just do food spots where you would do, like the show started at 9 p.m. And then, like, I think after 11 or 12, you would do a 10-minute spot, not a 20-minute spot, and you got paid in a meal.
Yeah.
So for the first couple of years there, I was just, you'd get food.
Also, there were so few comics in at the cellar at the time. I remembered when Mike DiStefano got passed.
Wow. Okay, that's got to be 98 around there, right?
I mean, this is, I don't know the exact, no.
Oh, is it 2000s?
I think this is 2000s because I remember he was working at Comedy Village. Remember the Comedy Village?
Yes, I don't think I did it, but I remember the name.
Right, and it was like on top of that Irish bar. It was like around the block from...
Oh, that was the Boston Comedy Club.
Well, it was Boston, and then it turned into Comedy Village when P.J. Landers took it over. So it was the Boston early, and then went to Comedy Village. Anyway, but I remember Mike being there, and I remember Mike getting passed, but it was this... There were so few people that were working the cellar because there were so few shows.
Yeah.
That like a new person getting passed there was like a big fucking deal.
It was a big deal. And now there's so many people I don't know. A lot of them I don't know because I'm usually on the same...
Sometimes I feel old, man.
Yeah.
Like I'll see somebody up, but like... I don't know. When when I was coming up, I'm sure you feel the same way. It's like I feel like I knew every single person doing comedy.
Yeah. I knew who everybody was. Now I'll see clips and somebody's got like 300,000 followers. I'm like, wow, I don't know that guy. It doesn't mean anything that I don't know him. I'm not on that late and I don't watch stand-up. So but there's a lot of funny guys. A lot of people have these weird clips going around where they're like, yeah, comedy sucks now. And there's all these lousy comedians. Yeah, there's a lot of shit comics. There's also a lot of really good comics. There's a lot of really good comics.
Dude. There's a lot. I mean, I think that's what happens when there's more good.
There's more,
There's also more shit.
There's a lot of terrible comedians and hacks, but there's also a lot of really funny guys.
Yeah.
And there's not this exclusive club of just a few funny people who see it the way it should be seen.
That was your guys' era.
Well, but we were just judging people on whether or not they were funny. We didn't care about politics. We didn't care about your views on race. We didn't care about your views on gender shit. Like none of that mattered.
Because comedy wasn't important back then.
No.
So the only thing you could really hang your hat on was if you were funny.
Yeah.
Now, important is the wrong word, but like now comedy is so fucking popular that like, you're seeing this like intersection with all these other different things. And, but back in the day when nobody's really making that much money doing it, being funny is the only currency. So it seemed to be the only thing everybody cared about.
You could get busted. Like Dice was one of the first ones to get canceled. I mean, Lenny Bruce, but I mean, Dice got canceled in like the late 80s when they yanked Ford Fairlane out of the theaters. And I believe Andrew had a 3-picture deal at that point. And I've heard that My Cousin Vinny was originally supposed to be Dice.
Get the fuck out. Pesci's character?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I believe that's true. Andrew, I'm sure, will tell me if I'm wrong. But I mean, Dice had 3 and they fucked him. They paid him out just to shut him up because he was getting so popular and doing arenas.
Yeah.
And then they again, his gay jokes they didn't like, so that he was canceled before any of us were. So around then, they were going after people in the early 90s, but back then they called it political correctness.
Guys, according to CNBC, nearly half of hiring managers say a candidate's enthusiasm about the job is the most important factor when considering them for a role. Well, if you need to hire for your business, how can you separate the candidates who are really excited about your opportunity from the ones that are just meh? ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter has a new feature that quickly lets you see the most interested qualified candidates first, so you meet the right people faster. And now you can try for free at ZipRecruiter.com/flagrant. ZipRecruiter's new feature puts the most interested qualified candidates at the top of your list. ZipRecruiter's smart matching technology connects you with the qualified candidates instantly. No wonder ZipRecruiter is the #1 rated hiring site based on G2. Use ZipRecruiter and find enthusiastic talent fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/flagrant. That's ZipRecruiter.com/flagrant. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Guys, you wouldn't hire a barber to fly your plane. You wouldn't hire your electrician to do your taxes. Because when something serious happens, you want the experts. And that's where Morgan & Morgan comes in. If you are ever injured by the negligence of another, Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm for a reason. Whenever I witness an injury or car accident happen, I automatically think, oh, Morgan & Morgan is going to get somebody paid. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. They have over 100 offices nationwide and more than 1,000 lawyers with over $30 billion recovered for over 500,000 clients. Morgan & Morgan has a proven track record of fighting to get you full and fair compensation. And listen to this. Their fee is free. Unless they win. You don't pay unless they win. And if they win, you win. That's right, free. So for more information, go to forthepeople.com/flagrant or dial #law. That is FORthepeople.com/flagrant or dial #529 and let them know that we sent you. This is a paid advertisement. Now let's get back to the show. This comedy boom now, does it feel much bigger than the comedy boom in the, when was it, the 80s?
I missed the 80s. I came in 1990.
But you were still watching comedy. Imagine you're a fan. Like you're seeing the cultural relevance of comedy.
I came in at a bottleneck, which was good though, because you had to be better to work.
Right.
Because all these places were shutting down, the clubs.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit more competitive, but I missed the boom of the 80s. But I would see guys 10 years later still doing the same jokes from the 80s because they were headlining and making $2,500 a week and they didn't want to let that go. But this boom is massive. This is bigger, I believe. You're in part responsible for that. It's funny. I just had Dane on my, and I
saw clips from that.
I've always credited Dane Cook because he did MySpace before any of us did social media, and he took it the way the business couldn't control it, and the business I think eventually liked him. And you did it on Instagram. You came in on my show with Sam, or our show, Sam would want to say. But you were talking about getting people to the YouTube channel, putting out clips, getting people. So you took what Dane started and revolutionized it in a different way, and that's a huge part of what's happening now. And good thing I waited, but I had I couldn't do a podcast because I had a
restriction deal.
I had a contract.
Non-compete.
I was not allowed to. Until I left. Until they stopped negotiating with me.
You know what I think Dane also did is I think he ushered in a new group of people that weren't stand-up fans.
He did, yeah.
In a similar way that like Matt Rife I think is doing.
Yes.
Where it's just like you see a lot of like young women going to comedy shows, even at the Cellar, and I think that's a Rife effect. There are other people who also have these like young girl audiences, but you see them start to matriculate in the clubs and you're like, oh, this is downstream from these people who really weren't stand-up fans now making it part of their identity.
Yeah, which is why I don't get the animosity towards Matt or towards Dane at the time. Because it's like
you guys are all making so much more money because that happened.
Yeah, you're creating a bigger funnel to bring all these new people in, and then all these other people, like at my level, can eat off of it.
It's also people who don't have the balls to attack other guys. Like they becomes a safe target.
Yeah.
And Dane at one point was the target that you could hit and not suffer any real repercussions for. But it was all fake. Like, Dane, you don't have to like Dane's act. Dude. What was he doing? He was just out making money and doing I saw him shoot a special in front of 17,000 people. And I was like, this belongs in an arena. Like it was, you say what you want about it. he was in an arena.
I remember like hearing people, this is when I'm like super young in, right? But I'd be at the Cellar and people would be like talking shit about Dane. I remember Dane came to the Cellar once and all those same people were fucking
yeah, of
kissing
course.
that
That's
fucking
how it
ass.
is.
And I was like, oh, it's all phony.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's all bullshit. The second he walks in the room, everybody's trying to go on tour, everybody's trying to hit the road, do whatever. Yeah, I think there was a little disappointment in it because I think in my head I was like, well, oh yeah, everybody's just going to Patrice it, right? They're going to keep that same energy right now and say exactly how they feel. And I think a lot of times people are kind of loyal to their opportunities.
100%. I'm also a backtracking phony, and I got called.
When? What happened?
I wrote 2 books, and the second one was I was angry.
Monster Rain is one, right?
No. Happy Endings was one.
Happy Endings.
And then the second one was I Hate Your Guts. And I regret some of the things in that book because I was angry because this was when people were like, Imus got fired. And I was just so fucking sick of people getting punished for jokes and things they were saying.
Yeah.
So a lot of where I came from was kind of a shittier point of view. I think the book was funny, but I wish I had been. So I trashed Steve Martin in the book for doing the Pink Panther. But I was because it was a Peter Sellers role, and I was just being a dick.
Right.
That was unreasonable.
Right.
Because I've always been a Steve Martin fan. I actually admire him. I think he's brilliant.
Fantastic
Richard
book.
Pryor thought he was brilliant.
By the way, his book,
Born Standing Up.
Up.
I'm
Have
sure
you
it's
read it?
amazing. Yeah.
I mean, like really, the doldrums of comedy.
Yeah.
You know, like doing a fucking gig for 4 people at Knott's Berry Farm or whatever it was. And
Yeah.
like, just like very cool exploration into that.
He was a real pioneer, and he was original and brilliant, but I was just being a dick in this book. So anyway, I wrote the book. A couple years later, I'm doing field pieces for The Tonight Show for Leno, and we were at the Grammys. And this dumb bit I was doing was I was handing people my CD, asking them if they would try to get me nominated, whatever. And Steve Martin and his band came through.
Boss told me you stole it from him.
The CD. No. The seeing CDs sexually, that I stole. Yeah. But so I handed Steve Martin my CD, and he goes, Jim Norton, you said some unkind things about me in your book.
Yeah.
And I was immediately you're right, I'm sorry, I was being a dick.
Good for you.
But I was like, I was being truthful. I'm like, I'm a fan. I was just being an asshole. And he was very kind. He's like, no, you're forgiven. And he talked and did the interview. But I don't think they aired that part. But he handled it really nicely. But that's why I hate anonymity so much, because I had to suffer through the embarrassment
of doing it in person.
And getting called out like a and I did exactly what everybody else does.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't mean it. I mean, because I was being a dick, and he's not a guy I hated. If it was a guy I hated, I'm okay with being confrontational. I'm not afraid of confrontation.
We've seen it.
I've had a lot of it. Yeah, I've had a lot of it on the air. I mean, you can't have that many hours without a lot of back and forth.
Yeah.
But he was the guy that I really did admire, and I had no desire to...
He's also a comic, Jim.
Yeah.
He's felt the exact same way about other people.
I'm sure he has, but he was too smart to put it in a book. I was just dumb.
Or he got successful, because I think that's the other thing is like once you get some success, a lot of those feelings kind of go away.
Yes, and you're less angry. Because you have so many good things happening and so much going on for you.
And then you don't care if somebody else is also successful. I think that sometimes when shit exists in a vacuum where it's like you're grinding, you're trying to get your opportunity and you're not getting it, and you see these people getting it, it's like, well, fuck them for getting it.
Yeah.
And then you get your opportunity and it ends up working out, and you're like, well, they weren't that bad.
Yeah, they were okay.
They were decent. They've always been nice to me.
Even Patrice, though, at the end of his life, he started to feel bad about the way he had treated certain people.
He got some success, man.
He got some success, and he dealt with a guy on his set. He had a show he was doing. I don't remember. We did a movie together called Furry Vengeance, which was it was about talking animals with Brendan Fraser and Brooke Shields. And I'm going to go on the record and say it was not the finest film, not the greatest of all films.
I saw different types of furries.
I have a list of Philias.
And he was very difficult on the set. I can say to the director, Patrice was a rough road for that director.
Yeah.
But we were afterwards. He was telling me that time that he had done some show, and there was a guy on the set who was being a fucking dick. And Patrice goes, I realized, am I that guy on other people's shit?
Yeah.
And it really affected him.
Yeah.
And I remember he started feeling like Lisa Lampanelli, he had been very unkind to, and a few other comics. And I think Jeff Garland told a story where Patrice apologized to him. But Patrice started apologizing to people.
Good for him.
But it wasn't for for career gain.
No.
It was just because he legitimately felt like, you grow out of certain things and you become older. I think even Lennon at the end of his life was doing an interview where he was going like he had changed at 40. Like you're just not the same guy you were coming up. So, he evolved as a person too and felt shitty about certain not with us, not things you say just to be funny, but things that were actually mean.
Pointed criticisms.
You feel a little bad about like, they didn't attack me first. What was I doing?
Yeah.
I've been a dick to a lot of people verbally, and I got called out for it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
That's an important lesson I feel like that I got to learn just even doing this show like so young and like through you and just like watching other people. And then also Craig Ferguson. He has like a great moment on his show where like Britney Spears is going through something and I think she like shaved her head and fucking threw an umbrella at someone. Yeah. And he was like, I'm not gonna make fun of her because she's going through a mental health thing right now. And I did make fun of someone a different time. And I ran into him in an event and he was like, yeah, dude, that really sucked when you said that. Yeah. And Craig like pointed that out. And then I try to keep that in mind where like we talk about people all the time and I try not to. Basically, my litmus is like if I wouldn't say this to him in person,
then I'm not gonna say it.
Then I'm not gonna say it,
dude.
And then a joke is a different thing. Like I'll make a joke about whatever.
Yeah,
but, like,
of course.
If I'm gonna really take a stance, like I want to be able to make sure that if they were in the room, I would say the same thing.
Yeah, if I'm gonna go in on somebody like for real, I want to know that I would say that in front of that person. It's why I don't yell at old ladies when they drive poorly. Because I'm like, if that was Francis Ngannou in the next car, would I scream, move, bitch? So that's why I don't yell at old people, because I wouldn't do it to somebody that could punch me through a fucking wall.
I remember I was at I said something like so stupid on Twitter. This is like years ago. We were in Miami, and I was like, I think Pete was like, Davidson was like hosting something, maybe a Jake Paul fight or something. I don't know, something happened. I said something stupid and flippant. And I remember I bumped into him at like a WWE event.
Who, Jake or Pete?
Pete. And I was just like, dude, you know what? I said that this thing, I don't even know if you even remember whatever like that. It was really stupid, and I'm sorry for that I said that.
Yeah.
And it was so interesting. Like, he was just like, hey, man, I really appreciate you saying that. And no, who cares? Like, we all say dumb stuff. I've said dumb stuff. And it was just like the easiest way of going through it.
Yeah.
And it kind of like cleansed me a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes if you mean it, like there's the saccharine douchebag publicist apology. And I would like to say I apologize for anybody whose words. No. And then there's legit, hey man, I'm really sorry about that.
Yeah.
And there's no shame in being sorry about something if you legitimately are.
Yeah.
Or if you fucked up or you wronged a person or you're an asshole, like
it's liberating.
Because
you feel like more of an asshole to hold on to it. For what? For your ego? For something like I fucked up. It's fine.
I fucked up, whatever. I made a mistake. And an apology in a private setting like that is much different than like I did.
It's not fucking performative.
Like when the cameras were on. Did I say that, Steve? I don't know what I was thinking.
I love the Pink Panther.
Yeah, I stand by Peter Sellers. That's his role. But I was really...
the performative apology, I think, is the one we don't believe.
Yeah. I apologize to Dr. Phil because I don't know Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
We interviewed him one time. He was very nice.
You were like, where the fuck were you when I was blowing kids?
Exactly. I could have used your hand on the back of my head to make me not feel like I was enjoying this so much, for Pete's sake, Phil.
What would you say to Dr. Phil?
I wrote, he was a chapter in my book, and it was a shitty chapter. And I was too critical. Making fun of somebody is one thing, but it came, like I said, I was in a bad place at that point.
Came from a place of anger, not like let's make jokes.
Anger and funny, but the anger was more than it should have been.
Yeah.
So I apologized to him, and then he asked me, "What's the name of your book?" And I'm like, "Oh boy, I wish I didn't." But again, I just felt like I'm not an honest person.
Good for you.
Nancy Grace. There's a clip of Sam and I, one of our first shows, where she walks off our show. Because I had trashed her relentlessly for a long time because I thought she was a phony and I thought she capitalized off dead kids. But she was in studio with us, and I felt like I had to. I didn't attack her, but I said, just so you know, I had to say it, because if I don't say it, then I'm just a fucking coward who's doing it behind a screen.
Yeah.
And I believe she knew who I was because she was very unpleasant.
We're doing it for attention.
For attention.
It's like, if I don't really believe this, am I just doing it for attention?
Yeah, but I believed it. I didn't like her.
Yeah.
And I didn't know she had suffered a personal tragedy in her life. Somebody I think that she loved was murdered. But
so that kind of motivates her worldview.
In a way, yeah. But hashtag Tot Mom is still capitalizing on fucking. I mean,
well, that's the problem, is a lot of people are capitalizing on shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's easy to call them out for it.
Yeah, and it was fun to call her out. It felt good.
And I don't know if that's the wrong one.
No, I didn't feel terrible about that, but I feel like I have to say, I had to say something to her and just, otherwise I'm a pussy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't want to be, but again, you have these moments. I'm sure you've had tense moments on this where it gets real with somebody and you're like, I'm not going to back off on this.
For sure.
I don't want to.
It's almost like those are the more interesting discussions. Like anytime I would go do like press or do podcasts, I almost like I'd almost rather start every interview with like, what do you think we disagree on?
Yeah.
Cause it's like, let's just get there. Sometimes it's pleasantries and all this other stuff. And you could tell like they actually want to get to something, but like, I'd rather talk about the thing you think we disagree on. Cause one, you maybe like feel like I have a certain worldview, which I don't. And if I do have that worldview, I would love to defend it.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Like
tell you why I feel the way I feel.
Exactly. I don't mind being hated for the way I feel about the world.
Yeah.
It's kind of like one of the cool things about being a comedian.
Yeah.
It's like if we actually feel some way, that's fine. I think maybe what can be like grating is to receive like criticism for something that I don't actually believe.
It's you realize when people start talking about you, like we were, I was getting trashed on message boards in 2001. So it's like you become...
This is the internet exists, but this is pre like Reddit.
And before any of that stuff, yeah. But you become very immune to it after a while. Like what people are saying, oh no, what's he saying about me? Yeah. You learn not to give a fuck about that a long time ago. Yeah. But I realized people were so wrong. Like they would say things, they would think they know something that happened, or they would think they know my motivation for doing something. Right. And I'm like, I'm the person, so I know the truth. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, you really think you're right, but you couldn't be more wrong.
So how'd you deal with that?
It made me angry, but it also changed how I viewed other people. And I became much more like, because I realized what an asshole you are if you always think you know the answers. Yeah. Because so many people had said things that were incorrect, that I 100% knew were incorrect, that it changed the way my worldview to the point where I don't want to be that stubborn douchebag. Like whoever coined the phrase identity politics, whoever coined that phrase is fucking brilliant. I think we talked about that. It's brilliant because people's identity becomes wrapped up in these things. Yes. And in proving you wrong.
Well, once your identity is wrapped up in it, you have to defend it with everything.
It has to be, and my identity is kind of wrapped up in just the things I've talked about and which is not always great. Yeah. I did Fallon one time when it was still a late show. The Tonight Show, they didn't want me.
Like a 5-minute set or as a guest
panel,
appearance? Yeah, I remember seeing something.
Yeah, I knew Jim. He was a nice guy, and he was still a very nice guy. But his show is not interested in being in the Jim Norton business in 2026. But I told a true story. I'd gone to like some transsexual bar the night before and left my wallet at the bar. So I had to go back and get my wallet from this fucking...
Damn.
Well, no, which I was
Don't you hate when that happens? You got to go twice?
Shucks. But no, I think I had already been relieved. So there was no desire to go back in. I was like, whew, get my wallet. And I got toilet paper stuck to my dick. But I think I told that story on his show on panel. And it was just like, that's not always a good identity to have. Like when that's your identity, because that's the type of stuff you talk about, because that's the life you lead. Yeah. It's not always helpful.
Helpful meaning like the internet now can kind of like frame you in a specific way or box you in a specific way.
In a way, in the business itself, like the business is filled with fake allies. They're fucking fake.
Oh, yes, they are.
Fake allies. And I've come to like I watch all these comedians getting called Nazis and it's like, you progressive fucking babbling fake allies. The guys who are called Nazis, they're the ones who have been nicest to me and my wife. Like they're the ones who have welcomed us and been nicest to us. So I've got a really strange view of this now that
For the listeners, your wife is trans.
Yes. But I've seen so many people who are like these real public allies. And then you're like, hey, you want to come on the podcast? Nah, I'd love to, but I'm big. Yeah. And it's like, you don't want to be close. You don't want to be helpful. And they're not obligated. Don't get me wrong. They have no obligation.
No, but it's performative.
It's all bullshit. And they attack Rogan. And
I hated that.
It's annoying because like, I know these guys before they did podcasts, and I see how he's the same guy. It's the same fucking dude it was.
Also, you know him. Like, just go talk to him.
You know this person.
Text him, call him.
Go have a conversation with him.
And also, you just went on the pod every time that you asked him to go on the pod because it was good for you.
Yeah, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, hey.
But this is a unique thing, and that like just talking to you over the last few weeks, it was interesting. It's like you seem to be very grateful for the people that have helped you get to where you are.
Very.
And I think I'm not saying that there are other people that aren't grateful, but I think that their North Star is opportunity. And it's not like this opportunity would not be possible without the people that helped you out.
100%. And nobody owes, to quote Rocky 3, friends don't owe, they do because they want. Yeah. But nobody owes anybody anything. Like, guys we had on the radio show, they helped our radio show. They were funny on the radio show. So it was a two-way street.
I feel like I owe so much to Charlemagne, so much to Rogan, so much to everybody.
Yeah, and I owe a lot to Dice, and I owe a lot to Opie and Anthony too. Yeah. And I've always been very public about how much those guys did for me because they changed my life. I mean,
didn't you shout them out on your special?
I used to bring Opie and Anthony to my specials, and I would always insist on them standing up and me pointing them out.
I thought that was such a cool moment.
Yeah, HBO wanted to cut that, but I really fought for it. They're like, they're not national, and I'm like,
sometimes the narcissism that allows you to be successful in the business of entertainment can kind of like frame your worldview like this was all supposed to happen. And there's so many lucky things that happen and so many incredibly generous people around you that allow that luck to proliferate.
Yes.
And if you're not like a complete fucking narcissist, you can show gratitude to those people.
Yeah.
And be loyal to them.
And there are a lot of people where they're in a club and they don't want touching you to risk the club they're in, or they're afraid that if they have you on or you have them on, that it will damage the club that they're a member of.
Because they don't really feel like they're in the club.
Maybe not.
They don't have the confidence that they're in. They don't have the confidence. What they think is that they're a guest. And they're like, if I ruffle one feather, it's not going to happen. And like one of the coolest things about the internet is like you get to kind of create your club, man. You get to have your people that support you and fuck with you. And you're supposed to have the freedom to do whatever the fuck you want because of that.
Yes.
And otherwise, we're just back in that same system that we were all annoyed with, where we were like basically begging for an opportunity.
Yeah. But now I'm in my 50s and I'm begging people to come on my podcast. So there's a humiliation.
but you kind of like the humiliation,
I do, but it's funny. I wish I could jerk off to. No, I'd love to, but I'm busy. But I can't. For some reason, that doesn't motivate my balls to move at all. I wish that would turn me on. Believe me, I would have a lot of great fodder. But you know who is a real person, like Dave Attell. I had said to Attell one time, I'm like, hey man, I would love to have you on. He goes, I can't, I'm on the road for the shoot. Then I saw him at the Cellar like a month later. He goes, oh, hey man, I'm back. So if you want to.
The man.
That's how you know a person is being real with you and genuine with you. Is it's not you following up 8 times with the same fuckhead. So you develop. I don't trash people because nobody owes me anything. So no one is wronging me. They're not wronging me. I'm not being wronged. I'm not a victim in that.
Yeah.
But you just make a mental note like, oh, all right. I hope you die in a fire.
Dave is such an interesting character because he's one of the few people whose mythology exists while he's alive.
Yes, and it's just 100% deserved.
100% deserved.
He's also
Dave Attell, we're talking
Dave Attell, and he's a generous guy. He's good to every comedian around him. And I remember we went to the Pentagon. It was with Bill and Jim.
What?
We were doing that tour, the antisocial tour.
Yeah.
It was this time was Bill, Jim, Dave, and myself.
Yeah.
And they had us go to the Pentagon to talk to wounded warriors. And none of us knew what to say to somebody who lost a limb in a thing. We were just supposed to make them feel better. But Attell was great. He was walking right up to people. Wow, what happened to you, man? What the fuck is that from? And they were so happy.
That someone was treating them normally.
To talk to him.
Yeah.
Man, I was over in Desert Storm and like, he's such a real person. And it was so genuine. We were all like, Attell has been funny at some of the worst periods. Like when Manny from the Comedy Cellar got sick, Dave made me laugh in the hospital room. I was devastated. He made me laugh. He made all of us laugh when Patrice fucking died and we were trying to raise money. He was on the air and he goes, come on, people, chip in. We got to pay for a purple suit and a giant coffin. He's the fucking funniest guy in the world. So he would always make me laugh in terrible fucking moments where I just was not, I was kind of personally devastated, but Dave is deserved. His legacy is deserved.
Yeah.
I'm curious in that vein, like what was doing comedy in the city right after 9/11 like?
The Cellar was closed. I was living in Jersey at the time. I was right over the bridge in Cliffside Park, and you could smell it. Like you could smell the burning, whatever, for months after it.
Yeah.
And I think below 14th Street, Manhattan was closed to traffic. So the Cellar was closed for a while. And I remember when we started going back, and we didn't know how we were going to talk about stuff. And on Opie and Anthony, like they kept those guys home on 9/11. So I just kind of called in and we were talking through what had happened in the morning. And the way that O&A started making 9/11 funny was people were writing these fucking melodramatic, drippy shit songs about the towers and the pain. So we were getting copies of these songs and trying to guess what they were going to do to rhyme or how they were going to ruin this and mocking these songs. So it was a way in.
So you're not mocking 9/11. You're mocking the songs, these like performative
Yes, and
works,
they were awful, and it let people kind of step back into it. And on the stage, we were all at the Cellar talking about our daydream. Like we all daydreamed, what would I have done if I was on one of those planes? All of us had stupid daydreams. I forget what Patrice's was, but the end of it was he would have then walked out and got into a cab and said, "Take me to Brooklyn." Like it was such an asshole. But none of us were kidding. We were all being legit.
Yeah.
And Keith had one, which was just childlike in its stupidity. So I remember I went on stage, Keith was hosting, and I told his, and that's not how every comic got back into it, but I just remember telling the audience how stupid, I just wanted you to know how stupid your host is. And I talked about what his fantasy was to stop 9/11. And guys were kind of working through it like that and talking through it like that, giving our own daydreams on stage, and people related to it. Because you weren't shitting on the victims.
Right.
You were talking about what you thought you would do in that circumstance. And everyone thought, what would I do in that circumstance?
Yes, I remember exactly that moment. Like, what should we do? I was in high school.
Yeah, how would I handle this?
Yeah. We thought it was like an attack. So we were like,
Well, it kind of was.
no, meaning like we thought it was we thought it was an invasion.
Oh, I see.
So we're like, do we get guns? Like, what do we do? You know, you have this like hubris as like a 17-year-old kid in New York. You're like, we got to
Let's light a couch on fire, throw it at the tower.
Yeah,
That's how we're going to stop terrorism.
Yeah, let's get our mouth tangled in and go back for seconds.
I remember being in high school. I was like, all they had was razor blades. Like we could have fought these guys. Like a bunch of kids just thinking,
We
we
did
could
that
have
every
took
week
these.
anyway.
Yeah.
Well, they thought they had bombs because they said they had bombs, and that was why they opened up their cockpit doors, because they were told that they had fake bombs. So they everyone thought they had an explosive device.
They got to lead with that.
Yeah, you have to open with the bombs. The razors are what you really had, but then the pilots were trained to open the door and negotiate, and that's why they opened the door.
Right.
Bad, just so they trained them differently after.
They also said they were going to land. They had bombs. We'll land. We'll hostage you guys and get money.
Yes, they didn't fly.
Wow, it's just such an interesting time as far as like comedically in New York, like these tragedies and how comics come back from it. Like I remember hearing stories about like Gilbert Gottfried doing something. I think he did
on a roast. Yeah,
I think he did a roast like a week later or something like that, and he did a 9/11 joke.
It might have been a month later, but I think
it was one of the Comedy Central roasts, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he
It was
said
within a close time frame.
he's taking a flight, but they're going to make a stopover at the Empire State Building. It was a really, and everybody got mad and butthurt. You know, all the fake. It's all fake. I can't even get mad at it anymore. The anger's all fake. It's all it's all pretend.
And it's rewarded now. It's interesting. Like when you saw it on like a forum back in the day, maybe it was rewarded by the community, but I don't even know if there was like upvotes or anything in it. Like now you have the most reward for the most performative response or whatever it is.
Yeah, like the outrage. It's all dopamine. Everyone's chasing their own dopamine. And I know that because I've seen people I didn't like getting in trouble for usually for language stuff.
Yeah.
And I never contribute to it, but I've watched it and enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, I'm happy that's happening to that person.
It is a weird thing because it comes for everybody, and I think like before you're there, you don't think that it will come for you.
Sure, of course, it come for anybody. People are like, you can't be canceled. Anybody, because canceling is not a rational thing. It's not based on real things. It's arbitrary and it's random and it's based on the mood. The punishment is meted out according to the mood of the crowd, according to their perception of the person to begin. So it's all fucking arbitrary and bullshit. So anyone can fall victim to it.
You said an interesting thing. I don't know if it was Opie or Anthony, but they said that eventually the audience will start entertaining themselves.
Yes, and turn on us. And they did. And we kind of knew. I think it was Opie who actually said it.
Can you explain what that was? Like you're saying in these forums it happened, or?
Well, the fans were very hardcore. Like they were great. I mean, they were animals. A lot of them are really funny. Like a lot of the people that hate me the most today, I know on some level don't hate me.
They've been following you for fucking 3 decades.
And I'm still a part of their life. Like I'm still, I mean, they're, their screen name is still something that I said.
Yeah.
And then even if they hate me now.
Yeah.
But eventually you know that, again, and people are not just going to be autistic in my favor. People are going to somehow, that can turn on you in a dime. And then after a while, they're just making each other laugh. And a lot of them are really funny. Like, and what am I going to do? Pretend that I'm above it? Like,
no, if you're a comedian also, like, you can appreciate the funny.
Some of it, yeah. And some of it's mean and just shitty and it's not meant to be funny.
Yeah.
But again, I've said a lot of fucking horrible things in my life. I mean, a lot of horrible things publicly about people, about tragedies and about deaths and about pedophilia. And I've mocked it all. And I'm in no position to pretend that I am not completely fair game to be made fun of.
Yeah, outside before the pod, you mentioned you used to get a bunch of death threats.
Oh, yeah.
Like, why?
Because of stuff we would say on the air. And
like, you have to use a fake name at the cellar.
I started doing that because of guys calling in. And I remember a couple of guys, I would get emails all the time. And I would have people say they're going to kill me, but they would do it under their real name. And that's when I stopped responding. I used to go back and forth with emails. Fuck you, cock. Like I didn't, But then a few of them use their real name. And when they're threatening to shoot you and using their real name, I'm like, that's a guy who has a problem.
Yeah.
And then I told the Roy story when the guy who sued me. And I've told the story before, but I got sued by a guy who challenged me to a duel for defamation. Long story. He was a lawyer, challenged me to a duel. He said, we'll go to South America, we'll get guns. It was 2008. He sued me. It went away. And then
one of the old-fashioned duels, like you take 10 paces, turn around?
Yes, that's what he was suggesting. But during the pandemic, he dressed up like a FedEx worker and went to a judge's house and killed her adult son. He was going to shoot her, and he wanted to kill Sonia Sotomayor from the Supreme Court. Like, he was he had cancer, stage 4 cancer. So he was going to go kill this judge, and he wound up shooting himself in the woods. So, like, that's a guy who I had a back and forth with. He put me in his manifesto. So you learn, like, there's real people that you're interacting with and listening to you. So you know what I mean? Like, I was always paranoid about the cellar being hassled, and I didn't want to just be there randomly every night and have some fucking
Did you read the manifesto?
Yeah, he said I look like Gollum. And
that's good.
I know.
That's good.
I know. And I've even said I had no defamation case. But yeah, he was a real piece of shit. But I'm glad that his demise happened. But it's unfortunate that somebody innocent had to get it too.
I mean, a great stroke of irony is in that manifesto. If he was like, this guy used to blow me in a pool, and then he just never talked to me again.
And he used teeth one time, so I pissed to defend myself. And then he mocked me. He victimized me by making fun of me. Yeah, he was. But you realize that there are people watching you who you don't know what they're thinking, and you don't know who they are.
Yeah.
So you have to. I mean, there's real life psychopaths out there.
Yeah.
So it wasn't me thinking I was important. It was me getting enough death threats from enough different places, and most of them are lies. They're almost always lies.
Yeah.
But you're only worried about one person.
Right.
Did you get stuff for your wife being trans?
It's been all positive. I can't believe.
No, but did you have any maybe more conservative leaning? That's the tricky thing because they've known this about you for decades. They've known
20 years, over 20 years.
So it's not
before
new
it was
information.
a trend.
You were early on.
Yeah, before it was cool.
Yeah, I really was.
You were there before the surgery got good.
Yes, I was. I mean, I was fucking.
You were like those Russian astronauts.
Yeah, I was back in the days where you would tip the wing like a hat. Good evening. But
so how early did you find that you were into the trans stuff?
Teen stuff, or maybe even before that. I saw. And the story I've told is its truth. There was a woman named Salka. She was a trans porn star. And I saw her when I was a teenager in my friend's his dad's porn collection, or whatever it was, a magazine. And it just hit me. I was like, oh, I don't know why, but it made sense. It just made sense. There's certain things that you can't say exactly why, but there was something about that I just was like, I understand this.
Was there any point at that time where you were like, okay, am I gay? Like,
of course. I mean, as I was getting dressed this morning, I was just saying that into my socks. But no, of course you wonder. But it's amazing how stupid people are. Like, so many people will go, just come out of the closet, bro. I'm like,
you're in a public fucking relationship.
A closet. It's a glass room. And there's fucking penises and vaginas all over it. What are you talking about? I'm not secretive about this stuff. And I'm not being dishonest, but I won't claim, yes, I'm a homosexual when I'm not. Like, I don't,
exactly.
and I mean this very genuinely, but I'm definitely not straight. There's no way you're in a relationship with a partner who has a penis and you're a heterosexual.
Yeah.
That's where all that fucking jargon nonsense has to stop, because you're losing people. No one is taking you seriously. No one thinks that you're saying anything real.
Yeah.
When you just throw fucking phrases and terms at people.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't know exactly how to describe it. And I'm okay not knowing the answer.
Yeah.
But the idea, like you three guys, and I'll say this, like the idea of being sexual with any of you, and this is the truth, is as awful for me thinking it as it is for you.
Thank God.
Like, yes, 100%.
But if you had to rank us, though.
What's that?
If you had to rank us.
I would always go with the money. But I mean, I'm not a fucking idiot. But the idea of being physical or sexual with my friend, like it's repulsive to me. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people misinterpret sometimes my life with the way I view them, and it's just not that way.
But do you like dudes that look like dudes?
No, I've never liked masculine energy. I don't like masculine energy at all. I don't think it's sexy at all. Like with transgender, depends on the person, really. There's been plenty of trans people I've been with. And I hate when sometimes trans people get mad at me, like, you're fetishizing. I'm like, I fetishize every person in my life.
Yeah, why is
who do
that
you think I am?
Yeah, why is that why is it a pejorative?
I don't know. It's just one of these things
What's
where...
the difference between being attracted to something and then fetishizing it?
I guess if you're only attracted to it in the dark, they consider it a fetish.
But you're in the light.
Oh, but are you kidding me? It's a spotlight that I turned on. I didn't get caught. I fucking turned the light on. I'm like, hey.
Yeah.
Because again, I just, I get sick of guys getting outed who got caught with a trans person. Just admit it, you fucking pussy. Just shut up and admit it. Admit who you like, especially if you're in your 50s or your 60s at this point.
Yeah.
Just come out and say it. That always annoyed me, but I would never, ever out a person.
Right. But you've heard it, and you've heard the whispers, and maybe even trans girls in the community have said certain things.
If you want to know who fucks trans people, have sex with a transsexual worker, they'll tell you.
Immediately.
Oh, it's because they don't care. They're having a good time chatting. They don't mean it for public consumption.
Of course.
But I mean, and I also hate this fake thing from men who are so, like a lot of people, they're not attracted to it at all.
Yeah.
And I hate when people go, you're transphobic if you don't like trans women. No, you're not. You're not transphobic if you don't want a penis in your face.
Yeah.
That's not transphobia. That's just who you are, and that's your life.
Yeah.
But I also hate when straight men, like I was on Theo's podcast, and I love Theo, and we were joking about something, and I showed him a picture of my wife's dick.
Whoa.
Which, yeah, but he had led into it saying somebody had showed him a picture of something, but it was like, she wouldn't, believe me, if she would care, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
She doesn't. And he was, he was funny with it. He was Theo. He was like, oh, man, yeah. And, but all the comments of people, like, dude, that's fucking disgusting. I'm like, shut the fuck up. You watch porn. What do you look for, small dick porn? No, you don't. No, you don't. You're not that shocked by a penis.
Yeah.
You stop pretending and role playing.
What did they think was wrong with it?
They
were just white knighting, like virtue signaling.
They were like, yeah, fuck that shit. And I know that doesn't offend me, but it's the fake shock at a penis. Like, again, you don't have to like it. I believe that you don't like it. I think that you're straight. I think that the idea of doing something like that probably disgusts you, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But it's this whole like, whoa, bro. It's like that. It's like, shut your face.
Oh, I thought the shock was showing nudes of your wife. Like that's
That is the crazy part.
That's kind of what I thought.
That's
it
the
was.
crazier part.
That's a fair point. But I know her well enough to know, believe me, she's fine with it. She would not be.
Does it work as well, the penis, when she's taking the hormones?
I mean, I spent a lot of money on immigration lawyers, and you wouldn't do that if it didn't. No, okay. You
gotta call up Trump like, we need to get her out of here. This thing isn't working like it was in Norway.
Hey, we did it really legally. It was a frustrating process, but you learn a lot about immigration because we did it 100% by the book.
Weren't you living in like Montreal for
during
like
the pandemic,
year and nobody knew or something like that?
15 months I went up there during the pandemic. I heard that they were going to close the border, so I just drove up one day.
I can't be without this.
Safe? No, not at all, please. I'm addicted. Come on, folks. Get your tickets. But no, I had fallen in love with it. At first, it was just about sex. I was attracted to her.
How'd you guys even meet? She's not from here,
She
right?
sent me an email because I had always talked about this stuff. It was like a Facebook message because I'd always talked about this stuff in interviews.
Right.
And I've got a lot of messages from girls. Hey, I'm so happy you talked about this. And it was nice to hear somebody be honest. And she sent me a message and we just started talking. But then she wasn't allowed to come and visit because they thought she was just going to live here illegally, which she wouldn't have.
Right.
But again, immigration can be tough sometimes if you're under a certain age. They think you're going to. So we just had to talk every day, and we became very close over the next couple of 8 months. And then I finally booked gigs overseas to meet her. But I kind of started falling in love with her through talking to her, like before we ever had any intercourse.
Where did she grow up?
She's Norway. From Norway. So getting to know each other. Yeah, we definitely talked dirty. I mean, there was a lot of Skype sex talk. But it was also like it became a real relationship. And it wasn't just somebody who I was going to have sex with. So I just fell in love with her. So.
And did she embrace your deviancy? Was there judgment of any of the shit?
She didn't judge it at all.
She's still a wife at the end of the day. Like there's a certain point in time where they're like, we're not doing any of that anymore.
There are
we're married.
certain differences and there are certain complete similarities. She's been very open, but my ex-girlfriend, who was biologically a woman, was not at all thrown off by it. Like I said, the one who was a dominatrix. She didn't. She knew all my secrets.
But she's in the biz, though.
She was when I met her, but then she got out and then just changed her life completely.
Right.
She got out and
you said she went back to school or something?
Went back to school, started making film, and then she's a hustler, man. She works her ass off. She got into the restaurant business. Like, she did so much with her life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but no, she didn't judge any of it either. I couldn't have been with somebody who judged it. I'm bored with somebody who judged. I dated a woman once, and I was so attracted to her, but there were certain things about my past, and she's like, you can never tell me that again. And I remember in my mind going, I will never be with this person again. I wasn't angry and I wasn't offended.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm not going to ashamed of this shit.
Yeah, you felt the shame.
No, she wanted me to.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel ashamed. I was more annoyed. Like, how fucking dare you? I know you're dirt.
Well, she feels discomfort about it.
Yeah, she was very uncomfortable with it.
Right.
Not that my wife is proud of my history. I mean, but again, we all have a history, right? No matter how nice a girl. You and your wife are a little bit different, but you guys are rare exceptions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a rare exception.
I'm curious, do you ever, at what age did she transition?
I think she was about 15 she started. But in Norway, it's a different process. You have to be diagnosed before they give you anything. And I think you have to live in that lifestyle as a year, dressing that way and living that way to see if it's legit for you or if you're somebody who is just stumbling into it because you don't know who you are. Mm-hmm. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like right now when you see, because whatever the personality of the day is, people will accidentally stumble into. Dude. People in the 90s, it was emo. And in the 80s, it was devil worship.
Yes.
And there were the people who legitimately are emo. But then there's people who weren't.
We're so tribal that sometimes we can adopt certain trends that can have, negative impacts long term. So you have to give people a little bit
and
to make sure.
There's a social contagion, even if there's a contingent of people that are legitimately a certain
100%. And there are real trans people. I've known a lot of them, and I've known them for years, and I know who they are. And they're real. You're a real transgender person. And then you have somebody else who comes in by no intention. And they think they are, but they're a little confused. And and they think they fall under an umbrella in some weird way.
Well, there's also like a social reward for it. Like, if you're like a straight white person in Hollywood and you go, well, I'm actually non-binary, it's like your way out of straight whiteness, which might be like the bad guy in progressive ideology.
I'll tell you what, there's no reward in the business for being a white guy who blinks a lot, who marries one. Oh, there is no Hollywood reward. But I knew there wouldn't be, and I'm okay with it.
Is it ever a strange feeling seeing photos from before the transition? I mean, granted, it's a little different because
it is. When she was younger.
Oh, do you guys have childhood pictures up in the apartment?
I think she has one. Yeah, and it's very.
What is it like feeling?
Disconnect. I can't connect that to the person I'm married to. Not because I'm angry about it, but I just.
So you have a problem with her past too?
I don't judge it. I'm just like, I really understand it. But it's never like a bad thing. It's just hard for me to in my mind
connect those two people
because I didn't know her when she transitioned. I knew her after she transitioned. Mm-hmm. But she's very logical about this stuff, and I respect her brain a lot. Like she's more conservative about it than I am. And she's actually changed my opinions in certain ways.
What do you mean by that?
Meaning that she's like, again, people should be diagnosed, and everybody who goes in for it is not exactly. She thinks that you should have to have a diagnosis because she did, and to get on hormones and to have surgeries, there should be a certain age. And I think you should be a certain age too, just so you've worked through maybe making a mistake. Like
100%.
You know, I don't think it's irrational to say that.
No.
The problem is we just can't be shitty to people who say they are that. Like, that's another problem, is like you force trans people into this position because you treat them fucking horribly and you're cruel to them, and then you wonder why they go, hey, fuck you, if you don't honor my pronouns, you're So there's got to be a balance there. Like, you got to at least be respectful and treat people with dignity if you want them to be logical and walk through this slowly. I mean, that's how I see it.
With all due respect, does she still have the piece?
Oh, does she?
And now, is she planning on cutting it off?
Not with Jim's money.
Not with my money. And if she does, hey, I'll miss her. I love her as she is. I don't want her to change anything.
Really?
Yes. And some people, again, there's trans people who say, "Oh, then you don't really love her if you." No, that's just not true. I love her as
you won't
you
really
are.
love her what?
I love her how she is how I love her.
Yeah.
It's like if you marry somebody and they have a vagina and they go, I'm going to transition and get a dick. You don't love them if you don't want that. I mean, come on, stop. People get so obsessed in the jargon and it's silly.
Oh, that's
So
interesting.
wait, what?
No, because I'm like, what if you're with someone and they gain some weight or whatever? It's like
Same thing. Goodbye. Hit the road, fatso.
But there is a reversibility with that, whereas like some type of gender reassignment surgery is not.
Sometimes
that's right. Yeah. But she doesn't want to do it. She likes how she is.
Is there like a hierarchy or scrutiny within the community when people get like the full surgery or when they keep the part?
Good question. I don't know. I mean, I don't know the answer to, because my interaction, I've known so many trans people over the years, but I've never gotten involved in activism. I just, and there's nothing wrong with it, but I just live my life. Like my job, I've lost a lot of fans because of it.
Really?
But I'm okay with that. Like, but I don't preach about it. Like, I don't know why they would go anywhere. Like, I've never messaged. I don't lecture. Like,
so when you talked about these stories for decades, it was never an issue. And the second you marry one, now it's like, oh,
I thought he was kidding. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. And my material is still good. Like, I mean, I try to be funny. And when I talk about it in my act, I don't lecture. My job is not to change your opinion.
Yeah.
My job is to live my life and give you here's the report.
Yeah.
Here's what's going on.
Yeah.
Do whatever the fuck you want.
And make them laugh.
Yeah.
Make you laugh. Because if you're lecturing, then you're not doing stand-up.
Yeah, it's awful.
Who the fuck wants to hear?
Awful,
who wants to go to laugh and hear some bore standing up there scolding them? I want you to laugh at like what I laugh at in my life.
Exactly.
Right. It's an interesting paradigm. Are there any things relationally with a trans woman that are different than a biological woman outside of the obvious?
No, the nagging, the fucking. I didn't go shopping this week. Can we just order food? It's exactly the same.
Can she pick a restaurant quickly?
No, she can't. No, she can't. No, it really is the same personal relationship I've had with anyone I've dated. Any woman I've dated, and Nikki, there is no, I'm not like, whoa, this is a lot. Again, like you said, the obvious and the challenges, and you have to worry about when you're going to travel. You have to think about, well, can I go to this destination? Is this safe for her?
Oh, really?
Yeah, and when you're out in public, you're like, is somebody going to say something? Am I going to have to?
Has that ever happened?
No, not really. A couple of looks or comments, but very rarely, and I can't even think of a comment I've ever heard.
Are there countries you've avoided? Like
I won't go to the Middle East. But again, only with her I wouldn't. Because again, this wouldn't be good.
Because like her passport still is male, right?
No, it's female, because she's from Norway. Norway uses female passport. Norway is different, and she's got a female passport.
Wow.
Yeah, for a long time. So she's good there. But even if they had to change it, I wouldn't like it. But you know,
and now this is a little crazy, but does she bend you over?
No. Oh, no. And it's not out of masculinity. I'm like, I'll wind up in the hospital.
It's for safety.
You gotta understand, you're blowing Alex's mind right now. But he's probably just like a little scared to ask questions. But you are with an absolute open book. He's probably one of the most unique individuals in comedy in that way. So you could probably ask him anything you want.
No, because it was like
circumcised.
No.
Whoa.
Unclipped.
Wow.
I am. I'm
You're
circumcised.
European.
That's what I'm saying.
That's right, European. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, she's an unclipped gal. You know, typical, the white picket fence, the wife with an uncut dick. You know how it is.
Well, I don't think women
Americana.
should get circumcised, so I'm with you.
Yeah, no, she did. Oh, yeah, I wish people didn't either.
No, I just mean women specifically.
Oh, yeah. No, but I'm actually trying to push for clitoral circumcision. I believe very strongly in that. I'm like, enough with this pleasure shit. I'm a big proponent of lopping that clit off and get to work.
And now, is your relationship open?
No.
Oh, so you're not like still sexual addict?
I mean, I am. I still watch porn and all that stuff, but I'm not sleeping with anybody.
But you gotta fight it, right?
Yeah, yes and no.
What if like an ad comes up for like a, some dating service or some shit? Like,
I mean, I look at the ad and I can get turned on by it. But again, I was kind of running out a lot of my behaviors when I first met her. Because I just, as they say, you run out your string, whatever. You just kind of like, after a while, you know what I mean? I still love dirty talk and I still love like watching porn and stuff like that. But as far as actively fucking people and all, like, you do enough of it, you're like, I've done it.
Do you miss vagina at all?
Sometimes, sure. I loved it. I love vagina.
Yeah.
But married guys a lot of times will like say to me like, you don't have any. I'm like, yeah, but you guys are only up on me 1-0. I mean, that's how I look. Yeah, one more than I do.
And we don't. We all miss vagina.
We're kind of at zero.
Of course. I mean, we all miss many vaginas. I have that in common with every married guy. I miss 99.9% of the pussies on earth. I miss them. I miss seeing them. I miss seeing the panties pictures. Are they big? Are they small? Does she have big lips and small lips? You know what I mean? It'd be funny if you guys were all just filed out and I was still talking. Is the clit big?
And what about her? Like now she's got a public, persona. Like, do people hit up her? Is that?
I'm sure sometimes, yeah. But she's pretty clear. She's not, she's very fine being married. She's way more traditional than a lot of people would think. She's much more like just wants to be a married person. And it's funny how people will see our relationship. And because she hasn't been on the podcast for a while, we did one together because I was allowed to do it contractually. And then I started doing mine. And she was getting a little shy publicly. But people will say, like, your wife is full. And I'm like, no, she's home. She's doing good. And everything's fine. Like, you're reading into the relationship wrong.
Are there cultural elements that make things tricky? Like the fact she's from Norway? Does that add a ripple? Or does it make it easier in any way?
No, it's because they're very much open over there. Like, they don't care that much. I mean, the citizens are a little... I mean, they're conservative too, but yeah, no problem. We don't have that big of a cultural difference. Again, if she was like from Turkey or somewhere, like, somewhere maybe a little more religiously or Islamic, like there might be a little more difficulty, but it's just from a Scandinavian country, so
right,
no one cares.
So interesting.
Have you ever talked about on stage and seen disbelief? And
I try to get into it, like, especially now where I'm not giving shocking information. Because I'm not trying to go, like, guess who I'm married to? I have things to talk about with it, so I have to let people know.
So every time you're on stage, you kind of have to acknowledge this.
You mentioned, I've done sets without mentioning it, but I have bits around it or jokes around it where I tie in I'm working on the thing where I'm talking about, I hate the no military because they're all mentally ill argument, especially like when it comes from religious people. And I talk about the mental illness that is in religion. And it annoys me a lot. So I have to set it up properly to get into that bit or that concept.
Right.
Is there ever a moment where like she's really acting up on something and you're like, well, maybe you guys are mentally ill? Like,
no, it's never been crazy like that. She's actually a better arguer than I am.
But you're better at cutting people's legs off.
Yes, I am. But
do you have to hold back? Because it's your wife at the end of the day. Like,
yes, you do. You have to watch what you say. We both said mean shit to each other. That she's better at stopping the fight. She's like,
your level of mean is better than most.
Yeah, but I've dated women who are good at it. Like my ex before that was good at it, and she's good at it. My ex before that was talking about some guy being good looking, and I was really mad at her. I'm like, you fucking bitch. And she's like, what, did nobody ever tell you you're not an Abercrombie model? I was like,
Has the cultural conversation around transgenderism been helpful? That, like, maybe when you were doing jokes about this like 20 years ago, it's like, oh, you're a deviant, you're a weirdo. But now it's like, oh, I'm actually progressive.
No, because it's become lectures. No one talks about it. Nobody wants to listen.
It's not fun yet,
It's not fun. Everybody's lecturing.
Now it's like...
But when you do it, at least the audience is aware of what this is. You don't have to explain
This is so interesting. It's like initially when you're doing it, it's so out there and provocative, right? That like it fills in your identity as this like deviant in a way, right? So they don't even take it seriously, probably, right? It's just like, it's just like a cartoonish backstory. The things that have happened in your life are like so insane that you can almost like separate them from reality. And then it becomes more open and progressive, but now people are white knighting about it. So it's like, it's hard to be funny about it without...
Yes.
Like the audience now feels like they should embrace it, but maybe they don't know where they are emotionally.
I think people who are progressive like the fact that at least I talk about it and I'm in the real life with it. And I think the people who are conservative like the fact that I'm not trying to lecture them and tell them they have to feel any kind of way or scold them for being who they are. I mean, that's just my take on it. It's not my job to do that. It's not my job to feel it. But I tell every audience. And in Texas, you notice the reaction to the religious stuff is different. In the city, they love it. It is what it is. But no, the conversation has not been helpful because it's not a real conversation. It's different people standing over a red line, lecturing each other and saying, this is what it is. And if you don't agree, this is what's wrong with you. Nobody is actually talking about it in a real way and like being, okay, let me think about what you're saying. And let me hear, is that transphobia or is that just logical pushback to where progressives became unreasonable and infuriated? Nobody is doing it like that.
How long do you think we live in this?
Oh, it's never going to change. I mean, we were talking about this since political correctness. Me and Colin were talking about this in the early 2000s. It's going to change. It's going to swing back. It swung back a little.
It did.
Because the generation now is rebelling against their parents. And their parents are fucking like, are very delicate with language. And oh my God, you shouldn't do that. Yeah. So these young kids are like, fucking, hey, let's get some Hitler videos and drink and laugh. It's a rebellion. It's also insincere. It's as insincere as
performative as
all bullshit. This whole fucking fuck you, everyone's a Nazi. And it's all bullshit.
I thought we had a few years where it was like, I thought we were past it. There was like a couple-year run where I was like, you know what, we're past it. Let's have some fun. Everything's good. And then it's almost like the pendulum swung too far.
Nope, it's exactly it. But here's the problem. It's like saying we're past heroin. It's a drug. It's a drug. It's not a real thing. It's people getting high and getting stoned on punishing and on arguing. That will never go away.
Yeah, because it's too seductive.
Trans issues, racial issues, religious issues, it's all excuses to do what we really want to do, which is fucking get the dopamine of shaming and fighting. That's it. So these are all just peripheral things we grab onto as our sword, but it's all bullshit. It's about punishing people.
The trans issue, I still feel that pops up every once in a while is like no trans in sports. Like,
that's a rough one because there's a physical advantage to being born in a male body. It's not like you're less than as a person. You're not a morally inferior person, but there is a physical difference. I mean, I don't know how people can pretend they don't notice that.
Yeah, I'm curious, where does your wife stand on that?
She's against it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's against it.
So who's fighting for it?
There are people because I think people are saying that they're saying that if you're against it, you're transphobic or you're not against trans people having rights. And it's just a biological thing. It's like that's like saying that if you're a middleweight, you should be able to fight a bantamweight. And there's no anger behind saying that they should. But I also want to see trans people be able to do sports.
Yeah.
I also wish that there was either open divisions or another way to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because I think that a lot of those people are genuine and they just want to compete and they're not trying to hurt girls. Yeah. Like they're just real people trying to compete, but we don't have an answer for it yet.
Oh, what's that new Olympics where they can use steroids?
Enhanced games.
Yeah.
Oh,
the enhanced games. Yeah.
Are you allowed to do steroids?
Yeah, it's encouraged under like medical supervision.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
Jim Norton, everybody.
Hey,
thank you so much for being here,
Thank you.
man. That was awesome.
It's
dude.
fun, man.
Yeah.
That was great, brother.
Thanks so much.